Spilling the tea with Sandy.
K-Man's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Brought to you exclusively on Kiss FM by J. Michael. Fashion for everyone. Good morning, Sandy.
Hey, good morning, Blake and Aaron. How are you guys doing?
Ooh. Crystal clear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
What do you got for us?
We figured it out real quick.
Yeah.
So big news yesterday. It was a big shebang. Literally.
That was crazy.
Yes, I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
It's
well,
a
I knew we
huge
talked about it with Sandy. I mean, I saw the aftermath video. And
house explosion.
What?
Yes.
Like, was it gas?
Well,
heard a bunch of rumors out there.
Proper investigations have to be carried out before anyone can definitively say what caused it. But let's just say that the streets are talking a lot.
And what do you hear?
And the streets are saying that's not gas. Now, the officials haven't said anything yet. We actually have gas on the program this morning, so we'll be talking to them about safety and other things.
I heard from a pretty reliable source that some guy was trying to build a bomb and accidentally set it up.
What I'm going to tell you is that's what the streets are saying.
Oh, wow. My mind, and because, I'm from an area where there's like in that
meth lab,
there's meth everywhere in like those red states,
that happens.
And that's, there'd always be a house or a trailer blowing up. But a bomb.
It's all kind of crazy. There's a lot of details around it that we're going to try to unpack this morning that would make it make sense. Because otherwise, you're like, why would somebody in Cayman be building a bomb or anything explosive?
I mean, yes.
Well, what's the take? What's your take on it? What do you hear?
Maybe insurance, and the guy there is just kind of stupid and is always doing, I hate to say it, stupid things.
I'm guessing that person is no longer around.
Is everyone okay?
The person that would have been building it.
He was the one who got the most burns and was taken to the hospital.
He's still alive.
Yeah, of course.
What?
Yeah. Nobody died, thankfully.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And there were other people in the house?
Yeah, three other people.
Oh, my gosh.
So it's...
I don't know how you
crazy.
sustain a blast like that. That's pretty incredible.
That's crazy.
It really is. But yeah, we'll try to unpack some of it, and I'm sure more details will definitely emerge. But it was shocking. I mean, I was on location pretty quickly.
Yeah, and what was you
felt it all over?
Was it the entire house?
It shook at our house. Apparently, I was gone trying to buy buying a new washer at A.L. Thompson. But at Dion, my husband felt it at our like something.
Where do you live?
In Red Bay, yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah, no, people said as far as Red Bay all the way to Wiltshire Drive, like they felt it. It's pretty crazy.
So was it the entire house?
Yeah, I think he was in a portion of it. So I would say the whole house is destroyed. I mean, the roof got blown off. It's just shrapnel everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, did you see the video?
Yeah, I saw Sandy's video.
Crazy, yeah.
And here's another bit of shocking news that for some reason the police have been really, really mum on. We've asked some information on this, received nothing, but I'm going to just put it out there because my sources are pretty reliable on this one. Sunday night, there was a van of armed men, 3 or 4 men that pulled up that allegedly had some pretty interesting ammunition, including lasers on guns, down by, oh gosh, what's the name of that one bar in Red Bay?
The Firehouse one?
Yeah, the one right next to the little food truck.
Oh, okay.
What's it called again?
I don't remember the name of it.
Oh gosh. But anyway, literally right there in the early hours of Sunday night.
Doing what?
It was like, what?
What were they doing?
Station bar. There you go.
Firehouse, station bar, something with fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew.
So, we've inquired with the police. They've not said a word.
Gas station, yeah.
And, people said this went down and they saw it and it's been really on the DL. So we don't know what that's all about. Another exclusive. You will only hear this morning. Say that twice. Department of Agriculture Director, Mr. Adrian Eswick, has retired early with immediate effect.
Right.
Normally, when you hear that in the civil service, something is afoot. Yeah. So yesterday afternoon, apparently they called a meeting at 3 p.m. for all staff. The ministry was there, and they basically said he's retiring early, immediately. Goodbye. And that was it.
And what department again?
Department of Agriculture. So he's the director for the Department of Agriculture. So
Wait, who
kind
is
of
he?
interesting. He's been the director for 15 years.
What's the name?
Yeah.
Adrian Estwick.
Oh, I know Adrian.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
weird.
Huh.
So it's a little bit unusual for government to part ways with someone
Very nice guy,
in
by the way.
that manner. Yeah. So maybe lack of performance is what people are hearing. So we'll get some more details and fill in the blanks in the coming days, no doubt.
Okay.
Is there your major news headlines this morning?
Yeah, a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
You can catch more coming up right now on Sandy's show on Bobo 89.1 FM. And we'll see you tomorrow for Wednesday headlines.
Sounds
Dial up this
fantastic.
summer with the late.
All right, folks. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Hope you guys are fantastic. Let's go ahead and kick this show off today.
Bigger, better, bolder. The cold, hard truth is taking talk to the next level. Right here on Bobo 89.1 FM, Cayman's Community Radio.
We are still spilling the tea.
And committed to being part of the change that Cayman so desperately needs. Join Sandy Hill weekdays from 7:30 a.m. for Premier Access, Cayman Voices, Truthful Thursdays, and much more. Cayman's #1 talk show is now bigger, better, bolder, and more than talk. Getting results with hot topics, consumer reports, court exposés, and more.
I've come to set the record straight. I've come to shine the light on you. Let me introduce myself. I am the cold, hard truth.
Now, from the CMR studio in Grand Cayman,
Live, direct.
it's the cold, hard truth. Now, join the conversation on 345-936-2626.
That number again is
345-936-2626.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. It is June the 6th, 2023. What a beautiful day. How are you guys doing today? Of course, it's Tuesday, which means that we're going to have a medical rundown. Tuesdays in just a second here. We're waiting on some more guests to arrive. We've got a lot to talk about today. Whew, boy, there's never a shortage of discussions in the Cayman Islands. I tell you what, something's always going on. Truly amazing. We have, of course, Rundown Tuesday guests. So we're going to be talking with them. We also have coming up a little bit later on in the program, the manager from Home Gas. So I see a lot of you have been making comments about the explosion yesterday. And I think it's a little bit too early for you to be blaming anything called propane. Something else might be afoot here, and you might be surprised at exactly what the streets are saying, because the streets are talking plenty. Whew. This is the Cayman Islands, and one thing people do here is talk and talk and talk some more. I suppose that's why we have a successful talk show, because you guys like the sauce. You like to know what's going on officially and unofficially. And of course, we are bringing it all to you this morning, every morning, really. But yes, it's quite an explosive situation. Well, we're gonna do a deep dive into it, because there's some interesting elements to potentially what happened yesterday. I was literally shocked when I started to get messages about this, and I went on location as quickly as I could. Of course, you guys know we're the first media there, bringing it to you live and direct. And all I can say is, wow. My eyes could not believe what I was seeing. I mean, it just was shocking. And when I say shocking, I do mean like shocking. Yeah. So we're going to look at some of the videos. We're going to talk about what we know. We're going to talk about what we don't know, because I think it's important for people to be a little bit cautionary because there's still things that we do not know. So we will hold tight on those. But like I said, the streets are having quite a bit to say on the matter. So we're going to break all of that down this morning. So good morning to Miss Vernita. So good to see you. Siobhan is here. Miss Joy, Alba, buenos dias. She says, bendiciones. Siobhan says, that's what I heard as well, that it was either a bomb or a meth lab. Well, it was something. It was definitely something. I'm not so sure that Cayman has meth labs yet. Hopefully we don't get them, but we'll talk about that. Miss Charlene is here. Miss Perla, good morning to you. We've got Siobhan making some additional comments about the situation at Station Bar. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the program. Diamond Princess, good morning. Miss Iva, Melita's here. Got it locked, of course. Wee, Olivia. I see the numbers crawling. We're already at 250 people in the live stream, and I'm sure we're going to probably double that this morning because everybody wants to know what on earth. Charlene, good morning to you. She's, having a question mark there about what it was. Alejandro, Perla, good morning. Strong cup of coffee this morning and a donut twist, she says. Well, that's not the best breakfast in the world, but it'll certainly get you going. Everton is here. Good morning to you. Did you hear from Miss Vernita? Oh, yeah. So let me go ahead and clarify this. And, we do our best, folks, to get accurate information. And so when Carmely mentioned the comment yesterday that she'd heard that poor Miss Vernita had been found unconscious, I thought, that's strange. I mean, I would have thought I would have heard that already. She seems to have been the only one that knew that. And then when she said, oh, it happened over the weekend, I thought that's even a bit more strange because, the news doesn't take that long to travel anymore, to be honest. If it just happened yesterday morning, maybe she would have heard it before me because she's probably got more contacts in Windsor Park. I don't know. But I did find it a little bit strange. And then I was like, So I reached out to Miss Vernita, and Miss Vernita is perfectly fine. Here's where I think the confusion comes in. And this is, in a way, typical of Cayman, right? So there is Miss Juanita. Remember last week, I told you guys that Miss Juanita fell in her house. That's Miss Juanita Smith, that she fell in her house and she's in a medically induced coma. That's her. That was last week. That's kind of, dated and old news by now. So I think that whoever told Carmely this story had the situation a little bit confused. Juanita and Vernita. Kind of closest. One begins with a J and one begins with a V. Total opposite sides of the alphabet, but they sound similar. Juanita, Vernita. So I'm happy to say that Miss Vernita is perfectly fine. Miss Juanita, the last I heard, she was actually going to, I think they were working on trying to bring her out of the coma, perhaps. We'll see if we can get an update from people who would definitely know her medical condition, which would be family. So, yeah. Okay, so let me just see. Okay, so we're waiting on, I think, our first guest from Cayman Islands Heart Fund to come on the program. And then we'll be in a position to go ahead and kick off the show this morning. So Deanna says, good morning to Sandy and everyone listening. Good morning to you, my dear. Vicky's here. She says it could be worse. Oh, for sure. Oh my God, Vicky. This could have been so much worse. We're going to break it down, like I said. Josephine, buenos dias a todos. Bishop Hero Blair is in the house. He says, I'm here. I'm going to check you off in the attendance sheet this morning. Good morning, Bishop Hero Blair. Melita. Okay. Yep, she's fine. Poor thing, when I message her, she says, well, she has some health issues. She says, child, I'm hanging on by a thread, but I'm happy to say I'm hanging on. And sometimes that's all you can count, you can go by. And in fact, the strange thing is, Miss Vernita is always on this program, but I think a lot of you don't recognize her name because she's like a different social media name or whatever. But she's always here. So we appreciate her. She's definitely top fan to the show. So big shout out to my Windsor Park crew this morning. Was just talking about them. They're always locked and tuned in. Oh Lord, have mercy. Somebody else is going to force us to talk about their business because they keep commenting on social media. So y'all stay tuned for that hot mess because that one's pretty hot as well. All right, so we've got Maureen who's here. I think, Maureen, are you ready? Yay. Maureen, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Not bad. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for having
Awesome.
me on the show.
You wear so many different hats. I have to keep it clear.
I know. Well, this is my pun intended heart hat on because Cayman Heart Fund is very.
Are we talking about food today?
Oh yeah, I talk about food every day.
Absolutely. So you're here as a representative of the Cayman Islands Heart Fund. First of all, tell us a little bit in case people don't know what the Cayman Islands Heart Fund is. Tell us a little bit about what the Heart Fund is and what it is that you guys do.
So I'm the chairperson for Cayman Heart Fund, and we are the national charity for all things heart health. Cayman Heart Fund's been around for a long time. We've been Miss Susie Soto, as everyone knows, was our founder and our creator, and since then we've been doing a lot of quiet groundwork along the way. And COVID sort of slowed us down a little bit, like everyone, but now we're up and going again, and we've definitely had a few events and had the pleasure of having you at some of our events. And Kevin is one of our board members, so we're really wanting to make sure that heart health shines here in Cayman. It is the leading global killer when it comes to health, heart, anything, and it surpasses all the other scary ones that we think about. And it's not that it's I think people don't understand how much heart health literally can affect everyone, and everyone is impacted by it.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you can't if you don't have a good ticker, nothing else really matters, right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of ways that it can be affected. It's not just diet and health; it's mental health. It's a little bit of everything. So we're taking the approach as we move forward and get a little bit louder in the community that we want people to understand that heart health is important. It means something different to everyone. And at the end of the day, we have to remember, being in the Caribbean, especially Caribbean women, we are actually incredibly susceptible to anything around heart health, and that's it is actually the number one health issue for Caribbean women. So, that being all said, we're looking forward to hosting a healthcare conference, our cardiovascular conference, this weekend. So we wanted to just let people know about it and invite you all to a health screening that we're having. We're having a public health screening on Saturday. So,
all right. So tell us first about the conference.
Yep.
Where is that going to be held, and who is it open to?
So the conference is at the Marriott, and that's at the 9th and the 10th. And the first day is more around the medical community. So we have, I think thus far, we have about 400 people registered to attend, which is fantastic.
Wow.
And yeah, it is. It's amazing. And it's a local talent, our local professionals here in Cayman, but also an international panel coming in to speak around the new trends and the concerns around cardiovascular health and disease. So Saturday is more open to the public. So I believe the registration, we still have room. So if anyone is interested in cardiovascular health, we've got speakers throughout the day. So, we'll be able, depending on what your interest is when it comes to the topics. But our thing is we want to make sure that we also offer health screenings. So on Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 11:30 at the Marion Ballroom, we are offering free health screenings. So the health screenings will encompass having your BMI done, blood pressure, cholesterol. So that's all cholesterols. That'll be your good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, total cholesterol. I'm going to do glucose checks also, and then you'll be able to consult with a medical professional about the results. So it's a nice way to get a heart screening, a health screening. We like to call it your, heart health check, because it does all of those things will affect your heart health overall.
Absolutely. And it's good to know your numbers. We always say that here on, Medical Rundown Tuesdays. Your numbers say a lot. You might look at someone, they look perfectly fine. But when you do, the checks of some of those things you've just mentioned, numbers matter.
They do.
So know what your numbers are, folks.
And not only that, not a lot of us, whether we have access to be able to easily get this kind of health screening or not. A year, I mean, gosh, we're in June, a year goes by and we don't even looking at checking those markers. So we invite the public to come, and we're hoping to get at least 100 people out. I would love to see that. That would be great. So we want to put it out in the community. This is our first health screening since COVID, so it's been a long time. So we're very much looking forward to having everyone there, and we'll continue to do them throughout the communities. So this is kind of the first of many, but we wanted to get one in before the summer, and then look at doing more throughout the community through the year. So.
All right. So Friday, 2 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. is for the medical professionals.
You got it.
People can actually show up and do continuing medical education, CME credits from the Medical and Dental Society. Lots of different perspectives in cardiovascular health, from cardiologists, medical practitioners, business owners, insurance providers, human resource managers, healthcare, fitness and welfare professionals, and more. And then on Saturday morning, the general public can come out from 9 a.m. until 12 noon. And, they'll do some wellness checks. So that's a wellness fair, a heart health checkup at the wellness fair. And there will be an opportunity to hear both local and international speakers and visit various vendors at that event as well. So people can register. So go ahead and tell us more about the registration process.
So the registration process is easy. If you head on to our Facebook page, there's a link right there, Cayman Heart Fund, and that's it. You're just going to go ahead and register. I don't think we're at max cap yet. That could change by the end of the day. So if you are interested, we certainly encourage you to go online and register. And yeah, it's I think it's really great to be able to offer this. We've got some amazing sponsors. And we are lucky enough to be able to raise funds to be able to do these kind of health screenings for people. Most of them are in need. We have people coming in all the way from East End and Boddentown for these screenings, because this may be the chance that they're going to have to get that kind of screening with no cost to them. And if you were going to go and get this kind of screening at a doctor's hospital, at a doctor or at a hospital, it would certainly have an implication on costs. So it's just a nice way to offer something in the community that our sponsors and our donors do support. So we're looking forward to hopefully seeing lots of the public now that we've had a chance to talk with you. So yeah.
Fantastic. And I'll, of course, put the link here in the comment section. So anyone who's interested can go ahead and register again for the Cayman Heart Fund, Cayman Cardiovascular Healthcare Conference, which is happening this Friday and Saturday. So Saturday is open to the public. Friday will be all the medical professionals. So if you're a medical professional and for some reason you hadn't heard of this, perhaps there's an opportunity for you to still jump in and get you some CME credits. And continuing education is really, really important for obviously medical professionals. So
definitely. Fantastic. I mean, trends are changing all the time, and it's cardiovascular health is such a fluid thing. And there's so many different things that are happening on a high medical level, but also from an everyday accessible level for folks like you and me, there's always something available for us to learn a little bit. So that's the goal with the conference this weekend.
Fantastic. Anything else we need to know?
I don't think so. I think that's great. We appreciate putting the word out, and we look forward to seeing everyone there. And as we do more stuff, we'll be happy to come and join you if you'll have us and talk a little bit more about all the things that we're doing on the cardiovascular scene in Cayman.
Wonderful. All right. Thanks. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.
And if people want to get involved in the Cayman Islands Heart Fund, how can they reach out to you guys and contact you? There's no such thing as too many volunteers.
Absolutely not. We love volunteers. We've got lots going on. And the easiest way is through all our social media links. You can go online to our website, Cayman Heart Fund. There are lots of ways to get a hold of us. So, and whatever's easiest for people, please do. And then we'd be more than happy to have volunteers. We've got fun runs coming up. We've got our community kitchen that we'll talk to you about on another time that we want to build out in the community in Georgetown. So lots of cool things happening. So we would love volunteers to help.
Fantastic. Thank you very, very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks.
Take care.
Too. All right, folks. So again, one of the wonderful things about Health City Cayman Islands is they always share their space here on the program and in other ways with NPOs and nonprofit organizations. So we really thank them for always being willing to do that, because that's obviously, a fantastic opportunity for these organizations to get some media time and to highlight all of the wonderful work that they're doing. And of course, to educate you, the public about the events that are happening in the community as well. So this sounds like a really good one over this weekend. So please do check it out. Cayman Islands Heart Fund really provides, education and other resources to people with heart-related conditions. And like Maureen said, heart disease, #1 killer. I know a lot of us hyper-focus on like breast cancer and all of those are important, but the thing that's more likely to take you out, unfortunately, is heart disease. So you've got to know as much as you possibly can about reducing your risk, because it's so many different types of heart conditions and so on that you've got to really be aware of. So we're going to slide right in. I see over 350 of you already on the live stream. I know why you guys are here, but I'm going to ask you to bear with me, indulge me just a little bit longer. Our guests are going to be here for a bit longer. Do not leave the live stream because I know y'all looking for some gossip this morning. We're going to give that to you, but we also give you a little bit of education, in between. So stay tuned for this segment as well. So let's go ahead and welcome Jennifer Weber from Cayman Islands Health City. Good morning, Jennifer. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. Thanks. How are you today, Sandy?
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. So you're looking good. I like that top. Very pretty.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. And then we also have Dr. Vikas Roshan, who's also here with us. Good morning, Doctor.
Hi, good morning, Sandy. Thanks for hosting us. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. It's always a pleasure to have the good folks over at Health City here with us in the program. So we're going to change gears a little bit in terms of the topic of discussion. So now we're going to be talking about Cancer Survivors Day, which happens to have been this past June the 4th, where people around the world recognize cancer survivors and raise awareness of the challenges of cancer survivorship. And this is the 36th annual National Cancer Survivors Day celebration of life. So, Doc, I think we could say with good confidence, thanks to medical advances, more and more cancers are survivable. And so this is a good thing, of course, but there are some unique challenges that certainly come with the journey once you've been diagnosed with cancer. So let's talk a little bit about how Health City Cayman Islands remains committed to really providing optimal care for those who've been impacted by the disease. So, of course, it's just, I think, an amazing opportunity. Let's go and bring in some slides about what Cancer Survivors Day is. Again, it's an event that's observed every June the 4th, and really just about raising awareness. And the recent opening of the Radiation Oncology Center is a huge landmark for healthcare in the Cayman Islands, in particular for cancer treatment. So let's talk a little bit about what that facility will mean for so many people here. Dr. Vikas?
It's actually, we started this facility on 17th of May. Mm-hmm. And on the first day, we treated 5 patients. And for a new center, treating 5 patients is a great thing. Mm-hmm. So on the very first day, we treated 2 patients with radiosurgeries, and that is a very high-end procedure. So basically, radiosurgery is when, as compared to conventional radiation, we give a very high dose of radiation per fraction. And why it's called surgery? Because it's an ablative kind of thing. We burn the tumor inside the body, and it's non-invasive kind of thing. And other 3 patients we treated with the volumetric modulator arc therapy. We call this VMAT, and it's also very high-end technique. So it was a very great day, I think, for me as well as Cayman Islands, because it's a historical day that we started radiation here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. And you've had, like you said, some patients already coming through the door and already utilizing the facility. So Jennifer, this is an amazing 70,000 square foot modern state-of-the-art medical facility, sort of phase 1 of what's happening at Cayman Bay. Tell us a little bit. I know that obviously you've been to the facility, you've had the opportunity to tour it. What can people expect when they go to the new Radiation Oncology Center?
So the new Radiation Oncology Center it's funny, when people walk in, the first comment they seem to make is, oh, this looks like a spa. It's a beautiful, light, bright, open, modern facility that is designed to be relaxing and echo what we have in the community, which is all the colors of the sea and the beach in the front lobby. But it is one building that surrounds this super high-tech piece of equipment, which is called a Siemens TrueBeam linear accelerator. And when people come in, they can sit, relax, and then when it's time for their treatment, Dr. Vikas and the team, it takes 3 people. They take them back, and for those who are looking on the screen, if they are on Facebook or on YouTube, they can see a picture. Patient walks into the back room, which looks beautiful. They're helped up onto the table, and their treatment is provided by, courtesy of that very high-tech machine. The patient doesn't feel anything. And before they know it, they are done. The number one comment I've heard from patients when they leave their treatment is they walk out and they say, "Oh, that was faster than I thought." Yeah. So it's been amazing. Dr. Vikas and the team have done such an amazing job of making people feel comfortable, and people. And I've been there most days. And especially in the beginning when we first started, and patients were coming out. We had one patient who actually had tears in her eyes. She's had radiation before on different parts of her body, and she literally had tears in her eyes and said she just can't believe she gets to do this here at home.
Wow.
And that makes me cry too.
Yeah, no, that's truly amazing. So tell us, Dr. Vikas, a little bit about how this facility is different, this type of treatment is different, and just a reminder to our viewers of who could benefit most from this type of radiation oncology treatment.
So this is like a state-of-the-art machine that we have here. It's a TrueBeam linear accelerator in which we can treat tumors from head to toe. So all the tumors which are present in the body, this can be treated with this machine. So radiation is basically a localized kind of treatment, and when the disease is confined to one particular part, then only we'll prescribe radiation. So it depends upon actually what kind of stage with which the patient is presenting to us. Most likely, the radiation is required in stage 1, 2, 3. And in stage 1 to 3, it's mostly as a radical kind of thing. And in stage 4, we do treat patients with the radiation, but in those cases, it's a more of a like a palliative, and it's just we treat patient just to alleviate the signs and symptoms of the patient. So besides providing the conventional radiation, we are able to provide the higher end radiation techniques also, like IMRT, image guided radiotherapy, VMAT, radiosurgeries, electron therapies. So actually, even for skin cancers, we have because I think on island it's more in number. So we have electron therapy for that, and electron therapy is a very good effective modality that can treat tumors. And as a primary sole modality, as well as when someone has operated on those patients, and just to avoid the disease returning back, we add radiation to those patients. So more besides having said this thing, there are other techniques like a total body irradiation that we can do in conjunction with the the patient is undergoing bone marrow transplant, that kind of thing. And suppose there are certain cases in which the lymphomas in which the whole body is actually involved in. For that also, we have a total body irradiation. So actually, with this machine, we are doing all kind of procedures. And soon, I think, in the next 3 to 4 months, we are going to add brachytherapy machine. Brachy means when we are going to place the sources directly inside the patient's body, near to the tumor, and the benefit is that gives very high curable dose to the tumor, and at the same time, we are going to save the near adjacent structures. So I think that is so these two machines are going to do, I think, wonders on the island. Yeah.
Wow. So just to be clear, the Radiation Oncology Center will be adding additional services, including the external beam radiation therapy, 3D conformal radiation therapy, intensity modulated radiation therapy, and image guided radiation therapy. So different types of therapies which have found, I'm sure, to be beneficial for different types of cancers and so forth. So this is really, really fantastic. Special services will also be offered. So this is just the beginning. They're just kind of getting the doors open, electron therapy and brachytherapy services as well. So lots will be happening at that radiation oncology center. It's just the beginning now. So a bit of fantastic news there for sure. So yes, thanks for that additional information. G says, wow, Grand Cayman has come a long way. I haven't been there since 2010, and I probably wouldn't recognize things. And I lived there from 1995 to 2000 as well. So yes, lots of changes. And in this regard, I'm happy to say that the changes are very, very positive. So here we have a slide telling us a little bit about what radiotherapy is. So perhaps, Dr. Vitkus, you can walk us through a little bit of this one.
Yeah, actually, the image that you can see is there is a mask that is just for immobilization of the patient, so that patient should not move during radiation. And with the same mask, we do one CT scan, and in that CT scan, we actually delineate tumor where it is, and we delineate the adjacent structures also. Because with the new techniques, we can just focus the radiation to that particular point where the tumor is, and at the same time, we can preserve the adjacent structures. So you can see this is a image where we can where we are treating the patient on the machine, and we just match the patient as per the previous CT with the help of these lasers. And when this, and after matching this, we'll do one CT scan, and this CT scan will match with the day 0 CT scan. And if the both are matched properly, then only we'll give a radiation. This is a kind of quality assurance test for us, and we can give very higher dose perfection with this kind of techniques. So this is a very advanced technology that we are using here for our patients. Yeah.
Okay, so I see you say it's very important for patients not to move. So you put that kind of protective, mask in place so that they don't move their heads. I see.
Yeah, because we plan a very high-end cardiac procedure. So if patient moves during radiation, when we are delivering the radiation it can be deposited some other part, and it can harm the patient instead of giving benefit to it. Yeah.
Very good. And so then what can the patient expect during the actual radiotherapy procedure?
So actually, most of the patients are a bit they're confused, and they think that they will feel some kind of pain during the treatment. It's a kind of invasive kind of treatment, but when they go through the process of radiation, they'll find this is non-invasive kind of treatment. It is not going to cause any pain to the patient. It's a painless. Patient cannot feel the radiation. They cannot smell it. They cannot sense it. So it's a non-invasive treatment that gives cure as good as surgery. So patient actually prefers radiation with the prefers the radiation, and moreover, when the patient is inside the bunker room, so no one is inside, but still we can communicate with the patient. So patient should not feel patient can't feel alone in there. So in case we also teach them in case they find any difficulty inside the treatment room, so that they can just ring the bell, so that when we come to know there is some issue, we can just go inside, and we can deal with the patient. If there is any issue, we can sort it out then and there, and we can again start the treatment. So it's a kind of quality assurances for us, so that the patient, whatever we are planning, patient is getting that kind of treatment.
Fantastic. All right. So how many patients have you had since the opening of the facility?
Right now, on machine, we have 15 patients, but 14 patients are waiting for the treatment. And somewhere we are touching 40 plus patients right now.
Wow, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Very, very good. So again, the first patients, my apologies, were treated on May the 17th. Of course, this is being a historic moment for Health City Cayman Islands and the Cayman Islands as a whole. And the oncology team administered 2 radiosurgeries and other high-end techniques like the volume modulated arc therapy. These things sound so sophisticated. The patients, which included 3 women and 2 men, ranging in age from their mid-40s to their late 70s, received treatment through, again, this high-tech laser TrueBeam Varian linear accelerator. Wow. That's a mouthful.
It is.
So, and that's you right there in that picture, Dr. Vickers. You were there, front line and center.
Yeah, I'm taking the selfie. Yeah, everyone is behind me. Yeah.
All right, fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about the cost of cancer, because when we talk about, the concept of, sort of cancer survivors and some of the things that they go through in observation of National Cancer Survivors Day, of course, the biggest prohibitive, element to getting really good quality care is cost. I mean, you've got insurance that may have restrictions in place. People have difficulty when they start thinking about how much is this going to really cost me. So let's talk about some of these elements, Jennifer. So leading cause of death worldwide, claiming some 10 million lives annually.
Right.
We have incidence on the rise due to aging population, smoking, alcohol consumption, unhealthy diets, sedentary lifestyle, and air pollution. So all those are contributing factors. And there's a study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, Oncology, that estimated that the global economic cost of cancers between 2020 all the way up to 2050 is going to be around $25.2 trillion. That's crazy.
We used to say when we were emphasizing billion, we would say billion with a B, right? So that people would understand we weren't saying million. In this case, we have to say trillion with a T.
Gosh. This is unbelievable. That's a lot of money. But of course, we know that with cancers, there's so many different types of cancer. So this is what makes, cancers challenging. It's not like you're just fighting one particular type of cancer. Like basically, Dr. Vickers, is there any area of the body that a cancer, cannot infiltrate? Because you've heard of eye cancers, brain cancers, throat cancers, tongue cancers. It's like everything pretty much can get cancer, skin cancers.
So it's actually everywhere. So all the organs can have this cancer. So, but the good thing is that if we can screen the cancers, so I think we can save this cost, right? So because this cost is because when the patient required more than one treatment, like suppose if the disease is locally advanced or stage 4, patient needs surgery also, radiation, chemotherapy, and now immunotherapies and all that. But in case of screening, we can find tumors early, and in those scenarios, maybe one modality is enough. So I think if we increase our screening programs, we can reduce this cost. So I think that is the way around it. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot that can be done, Sandy. We can treat what the cancers that already exist right now, and thank goodness Health City has this oncology center here in Grand Cayman, because this makes it so much more cost effective to be able to get this treatment at home. That when you're finished, you can just go back to your normal life instead of having to travel overseas and stay overseas in a hotel for perhaps 2 months at a time. And it also makes it so that your friends, your loved ones can be there and support you, check on you, know how you're doing. A lot of people can actually just go back to work right after they finish their treatment. They start treating patients at 7 o'clock in the morning. Some patients, depending on how they're doing, in other treatments that they're having, they finish, they go grab a coffee, and they head to the office. So there's much less disruption in their life. And much less expense. If they stay home here, it's more accessible, it's more affordable, and we can help patients maximize the insurance benefits that they have so that they pay less out of pocket for things like those hotels and airfare and all those extra ancillary costs to travel.
Right. So the highest economic burden, I thought this was interesting, is from lung cancer. So those of you who are smokers, please remember that. We've got followed by colon and rectum cancer, breast cancer, liver cancer, and then leukemia. So those are kind of the top ones. And then China in the US, I thought this was interesting, faced the largest economic cost of cancers in absolute terms, accounting for 24.1% for China and 20.8% of the total global burden, respectively. Wow. So 24.1% of the global financial burden is from China, and then 20.8% from the US. I thought that was quite interesting. Now, China has, I guess, a huge population. but also perhaps, a lot of things not in place as it comes to especially lung health, the environment, protecting, the air quality and so on in China is probably very, very different. So the Radiation Oncology Center, tell us a bit more again about how that can, really save patients money. So
yeah, we want to make sure that people understand that, there's Health City has been treating cancers in various ways since 2014, when Dr. Vinitha, the first resident medical oncologist, came on island. And since that time has just been adding more and more service. But one thing that is new about this is that this capability of doing radiation oncology is brand new in Cayman. Nobody else is doing this. This requires such specialized equipment and such specialized skill that it's been a long time coming. And now that we have it, we have all what it's called modalities, all three modalities to be able to be treated here in Cayman. If your doctor says your cancer needs to be surgically removed, we have a surgical oncologist. If it needs to be, if you need chemotherapy and other kind of medical interventions, we have a medical oncologist. And now we have a radiation oncologist and all the bells and whistles and equipment to be able to take care of that. So this is something really remarkable, not only for our island nation, but also in our region. We also are going to be treating patients from other places who are going to be coming here because it's accessible, it's affordable, and the technology is so high. So right now we actually have a patient from overseas who is being treated. And if I'm not mistaken, will be finishing treatment soon and able to head back to their own country. And it's remarkable that they can be still in the Caribbean home, but not have to go to the U.S. where costs are so much higher.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right, fantastic.
So one thing I want to add here is the importance of multidisciplinary tumor board that we're having on every Thursday morning. So because they're medical oncologists, radiation oncologists, surgical oncologists, pathologists, and radiologists, so everyone is there, and the treatment that we decide, it depends upon the discussion that we had, and I think it's a good to be treated under a team as compared to some maybe under a single person. So this MDT that we have, this has a very important role in the management of malignancies. So we'll come to know what is the best possible outcome for that particular patient, depending upon his age, stage, his performance score, and all that. So I think the MDT that differentiate us from the various cancer facilities on the island, and I think people should use that facility. Yeah.
All right, very good.
Yeah, when patients are treated at Health City, I think one of the special benefits that they don't even know that they're receiving is they're getting all of these doctors as a team in a room discussing their cases. So sometimes people say, "Oh, I have this illness. I wish I could get a second opinion." When you're getting treated at Health City, you're already getting not only a second opinion, but you're getting a multidisciplinary team approach of not only the doctors who are treating you, but there are other doctors in the room too, because sometimes patients have other health issues as well. So when you have a whole team of doctors who are reviewing your case and everybody's looking and discussing all of the issues at once, you can feel very confident that you're going to get excellent care with everything being considered from multiple directions and perspectives.
Right. All right. Very good. So we do have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Morning.
Regarding a good diet, we need an ideal amount of antioxidants as part of that diet to be healthy. But regarding your targeted radiation, if someone is unfortunate enough to need to have radiation, or your new by use of your new equipment, would one need to modify their diet regarding antioxidants since it's targeted, or?
So actually, with the radiation that we're using here, it's almost the same radiation that you're using everywhere. So I think there is no point in changing that diet. But there are there are studies which are mixed kind of results that we should avoid antioxidants during radiation, because radiation acts by generating oxidants that damages the DNA. But the results are not you can say it's not supporting the thing. So we are not asking any patient to avoid particular diet. So with radiation, you can take antioxidants, although even we prescribe also. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks very much, caller. 936-2626 is the telephone number. So do feel free to give us a call if you have any questions. So let's just talk about what a survivor is. So life after cancer. So of course, the survivor is anyone living with a history of cancer from the moment of diagnosis through the remainder of their lives. Jennifer, talk about some of the ongoing and often long-lasting hardships that cancer survivors will be facing.
Yeah, through the years, I've known a lot of them. Cancer survivors sometimes they have long-term physical and emotional side effects. They have an increased risk for second primary cancer and other health problems. Sometimes it can be financially devastating for patients. Because of the outside costs. Some people suddenly take a loan or suddenly have expensive treatments, and some people don't have insurance when they start. People sometimes say, oh, well, I can do some fundraising, or my friend said they're going to have a fish fry for me. And that's very nice, but that is not going to cover the cost of cancer. Without insurance, it's just not possible. You can't fry that much fish. And so we at Health City, we do a lot to make sure that patients are insured, get the help that they need. And one of the things that we're working really hard on is helping patients sort of cobble together all that they need in terms of insurance. So if they have a basic SHIC, SHIC, standard health insurance contract plan, a low-level insurance plan, that they also get a secondary plan, or they might also, if they qualify for other services, they might be able to get other charity services or government services that might be able to help them, so that they, at the end of their treatment, they aren't devastated and full of debt, so they can get through their treatment and then go on with their life. And another thing is the complete difficulty of getting and keeping employment. Sometimes if people who develop cancer have worked for a small company, for example, as much as the company might like to be nice and keep that person on, sometimes it just isn't financially feasible for them to do so. A big company has the more of an ability to be able to keep people on, but smaller companies don't always have that capability. And so a lot of times people end up, they've beat cancer, but then they don't have a job. And so it can be really difficult for people. And the effects are often long lasting, not only, like we said, physically and emotionally, but emotionally as well, because when patients are going through the treatment, first there's the shock of the treatment, and then they just sort of take everything step by step as they go through their treatment. But then at the end, a lot of times it's really difficult for patients, because then they have time to stop and think about what just happened to them. And oftentimes then that's the moment where they go, oh my gosh, I really dodged a bullet. And then they start thinking about all what might have happened, what could have happened. Yes. And that can be a difficult time for patients as well. So, having things like support from your family and your friends, developing a cancer support group, making sure you reach out for help when you need it, whether that's at the beginning by saying, hey, I've been diagnosed with cancer, I need help with my insurance, or I need help with the finances, or I need help psychologically. Those are all important things so that patients can do as well as possible as they go through their treatment.
Absolutely. So a couple of questions. Natasha says, how much focus is there on diet for cancer prevention and treatment?
So
I'll sorry, Dr. Vikas, I'll say some non-medical things. One is just that, yes, Health City now has the ability to treat lots of cancers right here in Cayman. We wish there was no need, but unfortunately there is a need. And so we're here to help and treat that. Health City has also done so much in the community for early detection work by doing community events and talks and helping people understand what they can do and what tests are available to catch cancer if it exists as early as possible, because we all know that early detection saves lives, right? Mm-hmm. And then backing that up, we're always trying to talk about cancer prevention as well. Mm-hmm. By doing things like smoking cessation programs and going out into the community to help people understand what they can do to reduce their risk of developing cancer in the first place. Mm-hmm. So I think there is a focus on not only the people with cancer, but very much the other side of it too, trying to make it so that we don't need so much of this service in the community. Dr. Vikas?
So from treatment point of view, if we add a good diet to a patient, so that actually enhances the effect of treatment. So the most common problem that comes with while treating the cancer patients is in those patients who have head and neck cancers and food pipe cancers. So because they when they come to us, they already have stopped eating in view of they have difficulty in swallowing and all that. So before taking these patients up for the treatment, so we need to take care of their dietary thing. So for that, we sometimes we advise them to meet your primary dietitian, and the required calories that we need before starting the treatment is at least 1,500 to 2,000 calories per day. Patient should increase its weight, and then only should come for the treatment, so that in those scenarios the treatment does wonders. So sometimes we also help patients to increase the intake, like sometimes we change the consistency of the food from solid to liquid, and sometimes we take the help of some tubes like Ryle's tube, which we put through the nose, and we'll start giving nutrition to the patient. And in those scenarios, we tell the patients to take at least 2 to 3 liters per day through that tube, so that he should gain proper weight before coming for the treatment. So these are the things that we actually offer to the patient.
Right, very good. So Jim says, as long as we continue using the types and amounts of chemicals to be sprayed in our food sources and types of greens we feed our livestock, treating mosquitoes and what we're putting into our grounds, as well as the modified foods, we'll continue to see cancers and other illnesses rise. Can we talk about this? Are cancers actually on the increase? And if so, what is the science saying about why?
So in actually, as mentioned, a very good causes, and I think now people are associating these causes with the cancer. So like the food that we are eating that contains a lot of preservatives. So these preservatives has a direct association with the malignancies. So I think we should avoid kind of preserved foods, and we'll switch over to the fresh local foods which are available on the island instead of the foods that we are getting from the outside. So that one thing. Next is like the spray that we are doing. Maybe I think we may be using DDT or organophosphorus spraying. So so when we see the literature, that is it's showing that organophosphorus compounds they are associated with more with the brain malignancies. So this is a definitive proof actually. So like environment pollutants, and sometimes we are giving hormones also to the animals, and we just make them grow and and for getting ready for us of the food and all that. So that also it's not clearly mentioned, but there are at least signals that we are telling us, okay, these can also lead to malignancies because it contains hormones. So I think these are the viewer has very good knowledge, and he has posed a very nice question. So that I think it's they think things are already associated with malignancies, and we should take care about these things. We should deal with them very carefully. Yeah.
Okay.
And Sandy, sometimes I feel like, sorry, but sometimes I feel like people want to have a direct cause and effect mentality about cancer, and we just have to be really kind of cautious about that. Yes, sometimes people say, oh, well, this person has lung cancer. Well, he got it because he smoked. Well, that we can't assume and assign blame to patients or people who have been impacted by cancer. There are a lot of reasons and a lot of ways that people get cancer. We can't, as individuals, all control this. And as the doctor was saying, of course, there's things that we can do to mitigate our risk and reduce our risk. And all of us should try to do everything we can to reduce our risk for sure. But even by doing that, there are going to be some cancers. And so please, I just want to caution people. I've heard so many people through the years, I don't know, kind of blame others by saying, oh, you got cancer because of this or that. And we need to be patient and kind to each other and make sure that it really doesn't, when somebody has cancer, they need our love and support, and they need all of our efforts to try to help them get through it. And of course, if there are things that we can all do to make ourselves healthier, we should try our best to do those things.
Yep. So finally, how do you support cancer survivors? So we have a list of things here in line with what Jennifer was just speaking about. So number one, understanding that the cancer journey doesn't end when treatment ends. There's physical side effects, which should be taken seriously. Provide emotional support and watch for signs of PTSD. Be present and patient, and also give them space. Some people just need to sometimes be alone to process what's happening to them.
Yeah, I think a lot of times what I've seen with working with cancer patients for so many years is the patient tends to do better through the time that they're actually having their treatment, because they can focus on the next step. And it's their loved ones, oftentimes their partner or their spouse, who are the ones in the background who just feel so helpless because they don't know what to say, they don't know what to do, they don't know what to support, how to support them. And then when the treatment ends, that's when the patient starts going, wait a minute, what just happened to me? What did I get through? And they have scars, or they have, they're growing back their hair and all sorts of other physical reminders. And that's when the people around them tend to go, oh, well, thank goodness that's over. And now we can move on. But that's right when the patient is really kind of processing, like you said. So it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of patience. And I think it goes both ways. The patient has to make sure that they reach out to those they love, and the people who love them have to make sure they sort of check in and say, how you doing? It's been 3 months. It's been 6 months since your treatment ended. It's been a year now. Is this a celebration? Is this an anniversary we remember? Ask the questions, have those conversations, and help each other through. There's a real ripple effect. The friends are sometimes traumatized. Your friend gets diagnosed with cancer, and then suddenly you're in the mirror checking to see if you have cancer too. It can impact everybody, not only in the inner circle of the family, but the extended group and friends as well.
Okay. All right. Very good. So thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. Again, just an amazing discussion. Cancer Survivors Day celebrated around the world, 36th annual. I think most of us know someone who's had cancer, or perhaps who's going through a situation now where they're receiving cancer treatment. Just be there for them. As Jennifer said, ask what you can do and how you can assist. And that's probably the best way to do it.
And if there are people who are cancer survivors who are listening, I want them to know that the Cayman Islands Cancer Society has a cancer survivors dinner every year. It's free for cancer survivors, and they can call the Cancer Society and get on the invitation list. I'll give you that telephone number. It's 949-7618. I'll repeat it, 949-7618. You can call and you can say, hey, I'm a cancer survivor. Can I come to the party? And so they will put you on the list. You can go to the Cancer Survivors Party. Every year it's a different theme, and it is a real celebration of life. And so it is really inspirational for people who are currently going through treatment, or maybe they've just finished. Sometimes people feel like, oh, I don't know if I want to go and hang out with a bunch of other people. I don't want to talk about my cancer. But then they walk into that Marriott ballroom and they see the place is full of cancer survivors, and it makes people have a lot of hope, because they see a lot of people have been through it, and then people stand up and they're 20-year survivor, 15-year survivor, etc. And by the end of the night, everybody's feeling really proud of what they've been through and proud to be survivors, and that just helps everybody.
All right, a few more comments. Rachel says, thank you for this informative session this morning surrounding cancer. And thank you, Jennifer, for highlighting people that are caring for persons with cancer, that they do so much with empathy and care. There's nothing worse than watching someone irresponsible, chaotic, mentally unstable, and narcissistic actually in control of a cancer patient's care, while the patient themselves are trying to cope through the diagnosis. P.S. You don't care if you read this, you know who you are. Oh my goodness. Sounds like that's directed at someone specifically. Jim says cancer is for and affects everyone, not just the individual diagnosed with it, as seems to be the case for sure. Alejandro says some were smokes, most are not, and apparently it can be somehow passed on if contaminants are on the clothes and hair. And then times, I guess, no knowledge of the danger took place. I think he's referring to asbestos. And obviously, we do know that there are certain chemicals and certain things that do cause cancer. We know that smoking, you shouldn't smoke. I mean, the list of cancers associated with smoking is pretty long. We know that asbestos. Now, we might not have known that, 50 years ago, but now we know asbestos can't be used in buildings. If you're doing construction in older buildings that have asbestos in them, you have to take extra care in putting on a hazmat suit and trying to protect your lungs in particular and trying to protect yourself.
And we don't need to be angry at our grandparents for having us in the car when they were smoking, 50 or 60 years ago, when they really didn't know. But now we know better and we can do better.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thank you, Dr. Vikas and Jennifer Weber, both joining us from Cayman Islands Health City. Again, we were talking about cancer survivors. And everyone who, is going through a cancer situation right now, or who've gone through it before, know that there are support groups. There's help out there for you. You just need to perhaps do a little bit of research and reach out to someone if you, need mental and emotional support. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a fantastic day.
You too.
All right, folks. Again, another wonderful segment from brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. Every Tuesday, they are here joining us with amazing information. Let's just take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back after these messages.
Have you completed and returned your business survey forms? The deadline for the annual business surveys is June 16th, 2023. The surveys are confidential under the Statistics Act and exempt from the Freedom of Information Act. Your response matters. Do your part. Fill out and return your forms to the Economics and Statistics Office. For assistance in completing the forms or for more information, visit www.eso.ky or call 244-4676 or 244-4600.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Cold Hard Truth. We're going to talk a little bit now. I see a lot of you were a little bit distracted in the comment section, not focusing in class. I did see that. So we will talk about what is on everybody's mind. Thank you, Miss Tanya. She says, thank you for all the information. It's very hard. One feels helpless when a loved one is fighting cancer. And absolutely, I mean, there's so much that you feel that you should be doing. And sometimes you don't even know where to begin for both the person who, has received the diagnosis as well as those trying to support them. So it can be, just a very, very precarious and emotional situation for sure. But thankfully, with better treatment options available, even on island, as we've said this morning, there's always that ray of hope and sunshine at the end. So let's just continue to educate each other and continue to learn and hear from the experts on where we're going. Yeah, so wonderful. All right. So let's go ahead and switch gears a little bit this morning. So yesterday, I'm going to pull up some footage here. Wow, what a day. It was shocking to hear. The first message I got, we'll just kind of walk through the chronology of what happened yesterday. So I had a girlfriend message me shortly after 1:00, and said, let me tell you her first message. She says 1:18 p.m. She says, "Hi, getting reports of a loud boom sound and felt at home in this area." And I was like, I was actually on an overseas call at the moment. So I'm like, okay, I'm on an overseas call. And then in her community group in Newlands, they were like, my coworker in Midland Acres said that she heard it up there as well. Somebody else says, "Oh my gosh, this is really scary. Heard and felt it on Moonbeam. It shook her house. The ground just shook." So everybody says it's some kind of an underground explosion or a bomb. They continued, having this conversation. And apparently the crazy thing is it was felt as far as Prospect, people said that they felt it. And then people felt it all the way to, Midland Acres is pretty far, right? But I heard Wilty Drive. Now I'm right in Lower Valley, and I have to admit, I was so immersed in my phone call, I didn't feel a thing. I don't know. I didn't feel it. I'm in Lower Valley. I felt nothing. So I don't know how I didn't feel it, but people Midland Acres and beyond me, Wilty Drive, would have felt it. But to say that this was quite a massive explosion is probably an understatement. And yet we are standing here this morning. We're going to have this discussion, folks. And to be able to say that there's no loss of life is amazing. If you don't believe in miracles, yesterday, multiple people received a miracle. No loss of life. That is just shocking and unbelievable. When you see the location, and I'm going to show you guys some footage. Someone said even South Sound. Oh my gosh, hold on. I'm going to get you guys some footage here. We got some aerial footage that hopefully we can grab a hold of. Let me just see here. So yeah, it just, when I saw, I went on location as quickly as I could because I'm not that far, obviously, from Newlands. So within minutes of me hearing there was some sort of explosion, I kept getting phone calls. "Sandy, this is what's going on in the area." I then proceeded to quickly end my overseas call. I was like, okay, I got to go. And I was out the door and headed to the location. And I could, immediately as I got there, I started talking to neighbors, and they were just like, "Listen, our windows got blown out." And I was like, "Your windows got," listen, homes on, okay, so it's on Bayfield Crescent, right? So this is, you pass the college, ICCI, you keep going. It's like you're headed towards Sunrise Landing. There's a new development happening over in the left with these multi-million-dollar homes. They've been selling that land forever. It looks like they finally got a few homes that are being finalized. On the right is Bayfield Crescent. Yeah? You go down there a little ways, and the house is a bit further down the street. So all the homes on that street, a lot of the homes had damage. The explosion, the bang, caused windows to just blow out. We talk about the fact that we have hurricane, proof windows. Well, I don't know how hurricane proof those windows were, but that explosion just took them out. They were shattered. Shrapnel of the glass all over the ground. All the front windows on one particular house that's not directly across from it, but a couple houses over, just completely shattered. In addition to that, I'm just pulling up the drone footage here. 1 second. In addition to that, folks, on the street over, so not even on that, I'm not even in Bayfield Crescent, the next street over, they had, oh my gosh, it was so crazy. They had a front door, that windows shattered as well. One woman had, and envision this, the house that this explosion happened, right? Say the house is positioned here. On the next street over, so on the back end, like back to back, is another house. That woman, the poor dog, by the way, was in the yard. His doghouse got blown out. When the owner came, they saw him crawling out from the debris from what would have been his little doghouse. Poor thing. They had another dog, which thankfully that dog, I think, had already passed away from natural causes, because that dog was a lot closer to the explosion. And I think that dog, because right where that little dog would have been was piece of the roof. And we spoke to a tenant. I don't know if you guys watched the live stream, but we did speak to a guy who was a tenant in that house before, and he had not too long left. And he said, there's my Ludi board, what's left of it, on the ground, because he left a Ludi board behind, and there were parts of that there. It was just absolutely just shocking. Really and truly shocking. And then, so that house had all the back of their windows, although they had hurricane shutters, blown out, right? On the front side of their house, their, what do you call it? Their front porch now, the sheetrock, I'm guessing it's cement board. It wouldn't be sheetrock on the front porch, but the cement board cracked and falling in. So all that has to be replaced. And then across from them, so basically the following street and across the street, that woman, her windows blown out. Her front door cracked and shattered at the top. And something Kevin was saying, because Kevin Watler is on island, and he was he was like in Florida where he lives in the Lakeland area. One of the concerns, obviously, when something like this happens is that your house is now vulnerable. And of course, there's always crazy people trying to take advantage of vulnerable people. The sheriff would send reinforcement officers and stuff in the area. So I got there. I think there were 2 or 3 fire rescue trucks. I think another one was coming in not long after I arrived on location. There was the ambulance that was there. They left with the man who I think got the more serious burns and injuries. And then 2 more EMTs, 2 more ambulances arrived after that a little bit later on. More police than I have ever seen at any event in Cayman. Honestly, I've been to murder investigate, somebody literally just got killed. Remember the one in town where the guy got shot in the middle of the late afternoon? There was not that much police presence compared to this. The helicopter was up. I mean, this is a major incident. I can't recall, and since I've been back on island anyway, ever seeing anything quite like this. The amount of, police that were there. They had the area obviously cordoned off and stuff like that, but just unbelievable. I'm like, almost every member of the police force is here today. It was just shocking. The helicopter was up doing some aerial surveillance of what was going on. So let's have a look at some of the footage. Again, if you're easily triggered by things like this, by all means, I would say, don't watch this, because it's hard to watch for sure. All right, so look at this. This is someone doing a drone video. Look at look at how widespread. Let me just start it over, right? This is a primary house, but look at how widespread the debris has traveled. Oh my gosh, I see the numbers creeping up because everybody wants to see this. We have almost 500 people in the live stream right now, but look at the debris, not just directly on the house, but continue to watch, all over. Look, the next street over, look at all the debris there. It's just, wow. Yeah, all in the people's yards. Like I said, their homes over there got damaged to the door, the windows. Just unbelievable. And then on the other side, Look at the stuff in the trees. It went up and out. Quite shocking. Yeah. Unbelievable. So we got some, there's some of the fire trucks and stuff parked off on that would be Bayfield Crescent there. And then the street over, I'm trying to remember, the street over would be Milton. Let me see. So yes, it's quite shocking. So let me just show you guys some additional footage. There's a lot of footage, folks, that we received, obviously, of this incident, and so we'll show you some more of it because it was just unbelievable, quite frankly. So let me see here now. So people are out, taking videos and showing what they had seen. Some people they had a very close view of it as it happened. And so we'll show you some of those now as well. Lots of videos and lots of footage. Some obviously a little bit better than others, but I'll show you some of these. So we were going to have the representatives from Home Gas on the show this morning because, of course, we like to bring the experts on. By the way, there's an accident in South Sound. Folks, I don't know how to tell y'all to learn how to drive. Oh, I just can't even. We'll just post it up on social media. I guess you just have to avoid that area if you're heading into town today, or if you're already experiencing traffic. At least now you know why you are stuck in traffic, and you can continue to listen to the whole cold hard truth. At least you have something to do to be able to enjoy yourself as you're stuck in traffic because all the bad drivers, right? So there's 2 vehicles, looks like a truck. Actually, it's a 3-vehicle accident. Lord Jesus. Take the wheel, please. Take the whole... seriously? Can y'all just take the whole traffic system in Cayman? My goodness, Cayman. I do not know. Look at this accident real quick. I don't want to get too distracted, but have a look at this. Really? How did this accident happen? Can y'all explain this? One car got smushed between, looked like the truck was turning one direction. The other car was coming out from a side road. I can't see what road that is. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull this up. Do we know what road that is? But anyway, it's just crazy. Wow. And so he's coming on the side road. Then there's another car that might have been going straight, but he's not really in the road. So I don't know how he ended up over there. And they all are smushed together. There you have it, folks. Another accident that is hard to explain. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Contact Recover, 924-9999. Somebody says it looks like Old Crew Road. Jeez, peace. No, sir. Y'all really need some help with the driving situation, I must tell you. I don't know. Go back to driving school. Maybe we all need to retake, driving. Oh my gosh. Lessons or something. I don't know. So somebody said an ambulance just passed by Oz's gas station this morning. Well, I doubt that's related to this, but And somebody says, yep, and another Honda Fit is in the mix. We joke about Honda Fits, but that's because there's so many of them on the road. They're like literally probably 60-70% of the cars in Cayman must be Honda Fits by now. So of course, when there's an accident, there always seems to be a Honda Fit involved. So anyway, Contact Recover, 924-9999. Somebody's at fault for this one. I don't know who it is, but whoever's at fault now has to have their insurance. Hopefully they have insurance to pay for this. Hot mess. All right, let's continue, folks, talking about the incident from yesterday. So Oh, the ambulance was by the gas station? Oh, maybe somebody had a little somebody being cheeky this morning. They said, Sandy, talk about misinformation. All right, we'll get to that one here in a second. Thanks for sharing that. That's kind of made me kind of chuckle. So yes, so anyway, lots and lots of video footage. I'm going to show you guys some still photos as well, so that you can get an idea of the magnitude of this. And somebody sent a little bit of tongue-in-cheek joke. So we had the guys over at Home Gas, they were prepared to come on this morning. However, they are now at the scene. They were coming on at 8:30. They're now at the scene of the investigation because, I'm going to just tell y'all how it is, and I don't care who like it. I'm Sarah Sue, by the way. Thank you so much for your comment this morning that we should invite the fire chief and I guess the fire experts onto the show. We will certainly do that. I can tell you that is often the case. They're not likely to come on, I hate to tell y'all, but we ask, and once we get ignored, we just continue the conversation, and we have people come on who are willing to come on. So we know that Home Gas, they have nothing to hide. They're willing to come on. And so, we had them booked. But here's the joke. You know why they're not coming on this morning? Take a wild guess. We need to give away a gift certificate today. 936-2626. Can anybody guess why Home Gas, who had scheduled to come on and they were going to bring all their expertise with them, right? Why is it that they're not coming on this morning as scheduled? Anybody? 936. Alejandro is going to take a stab at it. Morning, Alejandro.
Yeah, I got answer that correct, right?
Well, let's see.
All right, it is the propane, right?
That's it. That's the answer? No.
Yeah, was it the propane?
No, that's not.
No?
No.
Oh man, I had a high hope for it because everybody else was on the explosion with a bomb.
Nope. All right, let's take the other caller. Caller, good morning. Why do you think they're not here this morning?
They're most likely not there because the police is actually stopping them from commenting on the investigation.
Not quite. Not quite. Good, in the ballpark, but not quite.
Okay.
All right, let's try another caller. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program. Why are they not here as scheduled this morning?
Did the police tell them not to come?
No. Not quite.
Okay.
Yeah, it's related to government's inefficiency, but it's not that they were told not to come. All right. Good morning.
All right.
Thank you so much. Good morning, caller. What's your guess at this?
Did the homeowner threaten litigation?
Nah. What are they gonna do? They better go sit their backside down, honey chill. Nope, that's not it.
All right.
Oh, they better find some litigation for the son who blew up their own house. Morning, caller. What do you think?
Is it where Off-Reg has screwed up and now they're trying to cover it up?
Nope, not that.
Okay.
Y'all are kind of skirting around the issue a little bit. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Well, I think, I don't know if I'm wrong or right, but I saw footage of the stuff and thing, and there's nothing wrong with the gas tank. It looked fine to me. So I don't know if it's that.
No, so we can't make any conclusions yet about the actual accident. So thank you, caller, for that. So
well, like I say, I saw the tank.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about that this morning, but no. Let's try another one. Good morning, caller.
All right. You say government inefficiency. I believe that it was a bomb expert that is needed.
No.
No, not a bomb expert either.
No.
All right.
All right. You guys giving up, or should we try a few more calls? Yes. Good morning, caller. What's your guess? Hello, caller.
Yeah,
Morning.
Yeah, morning. They're helping out.
They're helping out with the investigation.
Well,
They're
they
helping the police with the
are. They
investigation.
are. So you're halfway there. They are at the investigation site, but you know they obviously knew that they would have to be there this morning. So think a little bit. Think of Caymanians and their lack of respect for something called time.
The schedule wrong to come on to your show, or
no, it's not them.
They don't have enough. They don't have enough.
Government.
The police. Yeah, well, they don't have enough people to do the investigation.
Well,
something like that.
I don't know if they got enough or not, but let's try. Miss Emma, good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Poor time management.
Poor time management. Be more specific. Danny, you're gonna take a stab at it?
I might as well if everybody else is gonna take a stab at it.
What do you think? Poor time management is right, but
so instead of conducting the investigation yesterday as it had just finished occurring, they waited until this morning.
Okay.
And
no, y'all like kind of skirting around it. Morning, caller.
Is it poor time management?
I mean, it has to do with that, but let me just go ahead and give you all the answer. The fire investigators were supposed to be on the scene at 6 o'clock this morning. They literally just arrived at 8:30. So I think poor time management is about as close as we're going to get. So I'll give you the gift certificate. But yeah, so, you know, had they arrived at 6 o'clock this morning instead of at 8:30, our guests who were scheduled to be here at 8:30 would have been here at 8:30.
Well, that's essentially what I said, but she could have the gift certificate.
So the fire investigators, I guess they didn't feel like waking up too early this morning. They were overworked yesterday, honey child. So they're like, nope, we'll be sleeping in this morning. We in government time. We can't wake up too much overtime. So they did not arrive until 8:30 this morning, 6 o'clock to 8:30. You know, anybody else like the rest of us, if we were supposed to be on location on scene, we would have been fired, right? Like, unless you work for government. I mean, because then, you know, you show up when you show up and things get done when they get done. 6 o'clock versus 8:30. There's a huge difference between private sector and government. I can tell you all that, because in private sector, boy, let me tell you something. Time is money. And so if you come in 6 o'clock, you better show up at 6 o'clock or you're going to be out of a job. But government, what the heck? Almost 600 people on the live stream this morning. Let's continue to look at a few more videos, and then I'm going to tell you guys some inside stuff about the house and everything else that we know. So here's some more footage. I mean, this is obviously the side of the house that took the brunt of it. Listen, over here is a washer that got blown out. Lots of wood shrapnel pieces. I mean, thank God, in a way. Yes, definitely thank God that this happened in the middle of the afternoon when most people would have been at work. Because even the neighbor across the street who had the door, you know, blown in, it blew right through the house, you know? Their front door. Let me explain this to y'all. The front door, which opens out. Y'all capiche how hard it is to blow in a front door that opens out? Because the screws are like in the opposite direction. The force of this explosion blew the front door in and through the house. Anybody who would have been sitting behind that door and would have gotten hit by that would probably be in some serious condition here this morning. Shrapnel all over the place. I think somebody's dog went missing after this, and they were so concerned about the dog. But look at the debris everywhere. The only thing close to this that I've ever seen was after Hurricane Ivan. Because Hurricane Ivan did this, and that is a Cat 5 storm of how many, 200 plus miles per hour, shattered people's homes like this, like nothing, you know. Of course, the chickens seem to survive. You see them still walk around the place. Look at that. G's on peace. All right, let's watch another video. More footage here of the area, the house, surrounding homes. I mean, look at the surrounding homes real quick. So look at this one. I don't know if this is, it's hard to tell, but is that something from the primary house or the surrounding house? But you see all those windows, they're all blown out. All those are blown out. And then this is, I think this is the door. Is this the door that got, this is right across from it. I think this might have been the door that got blown in. Is that the one that got blown in? But I mean, what on earth? Look at the debris in the street. Just shocking. Absolutely. The visual is like, wow. Yeah. So this house has a bit of an interesting history.
That house is now damaged. And this house is...
Yeah, so lots of surrounding homes got damaged. So the interesting thing about this house
two houses
is
over that way.
what I'll say
And
is
my
I'm going to
whole
show you
house
guys some
shook.
before and after pictures of the house
All
now.
my lights are broken and the lights fell.
And I think it's really, really important as we're all thinking in our minds, what could have caused this? What happened? I want y'all to pay close attention to what I'm going to tell you. Because you can't, you want me to drive? You can't get through this way? Oh yeah, this
No,
is
because
oh yes, by the way, big shout out to Mountains Regiment. They were on location. So they did arrive. Kevin came by to help me out, child, poor Kevin. He was helping me with the umbrella because as I was live streaming, my phone actually overheated. These iPhones, honey child, they're so delicate. When did I record this? Oh Lord, the camera is still on. That's me, my bad recording. So these iPhones are so delicate, my dear. They can't take nothing called heat. And y'all know it's only June. But if you think June bad, wait till August. The heat out there was crazy. I was dripping. I had took water with me. I drank that so fast. I was dripping in sweat. And my poor phone said temperature, gave me the temperature warning. It completely overheated. And that was the end of that. I had to let it cool down and sit in the shade for a minute. So Kevin was helping me out with the umbrella because I had to do this before where I get a little umbrella and I keep the phone covered when I'm live streaming because in direct heat, these phones just don't operate. Now, one of the things that's interesting is if you've been paying attention here, you'll notice that the one thing that does not seem to have moved was the gas tanks. See that big gas tank back there? And if you go back to one of our live stream, there was a smaller tank and then a bigger tank, both next to each other at the end of the property. And both of those are intact, which really makes me suspicious about the cause of this. So big shout out, here's the regiment. They came through. Obviously, in times like this, they're going to be there to assist with the, this is what part of what they're doing, disaster management, disaster recovery. They're going to now help to, clean up the area, clean up all the debris, and be supportive of the fire investigators, fire rescue, and the police. So they definitely came walking through yesterday, and they had several teams of regiment officials. We saw Miss Heather Bodden arrive. When I first got there, actually, the premier's wife was there. I think he might have been in caucus yesterday, but obviously all that had to be cut short. And he would have then needed to, be unseen. And we did see him come unseen. And he was escorted then around to, I'm sure, get a briefing on exactly what had gone on. So, folks, this is quite a serious incident. And I do not want anyone jumping to conclusions about what transpired here, because one thing I'm very, very suspicious of, and I'm going to even show you guys a photo. I'm not the only person who's suspicious that a gas situation might have had nothing to do with this. We're no experts. Let's look at some photos of the house beforehand. So this is the structure. This is the house. This is the front of the house. Some different angles of the house. Ironically enough, the house was placed up for sale just last week. Just last week, the property was put up for sale. If you go look at they were asking $640,000 for this house, which I think is a little bit inflated, but anyway, y'all know Cayman prices, honey child, out of this world crazy. 2,000 square foot house, $640,000. It's a rental home. So the homeowner, from what I understand, she does not live there herself. She has tenants, but I think her son might live in a portion of the house. And he's the one who got the bulk of the injuries in terms of the burns and stuff. And whatever rumors are circulated in the street, they're circulating around this young man. Rex, I believe is his name. So, I mean, you know, run-of-the-mill house. I don't know if it's a $604,000 house, but they said that you can get a 10% return on your investment. You know, they talked about, for example, you can get income because I guess they've got multiple tenants living in there. So you can get, you know, all these different people paying your mortgage for you. So there you go. That's another view of it. Now, here's something else of interest. Y'all know CMR be doing some digging, honey child. What we do know is that this house was subject to a planning enforcement order. So technically, they would not be in a position to sell the house until that was rectified in any event, but they still put the house up for sale. Again, interesting for sure. Adds an element to the story that makes you go, Things that make you go, honey, chill. So why they had, let's get to that one in a second. Why they had an enforcement order in place is because they added on to this house without planning approval. Now, y'all love to want to lambast our government departments when it's not necessary. And of course, planning, they always be wanting people to submit planning. Oh, Lord Jesus, I'm over here sipping my tea going, there's probably a very good reason. Yeah? Why planning wants you to get approval for additions onto your house. So this initial part of it, I think, might have been a concrete structure. This part added on as all that wood that you see that has now blown up to pieces. Adding on to have a tenement yard and to be able to rent out your place to even more people and not going through the requisite planning requirements actually can be very dangerous, because planning is going to make sure you get certain things up to standard. Electrical inspections, right? Even your propane tank. Listen, the last time that Home Gas was here on this show, what was the topic of discussion? They were talking about how so many people are bamboozling and putting together their own connection, their own gas connection, right? With PVP, is it PVB? Pipes, and all kind of stuff, when they should not be doing that, because that is a safety hazard. Do you guys remember when John was here from Home Gas and he was showing us photos of people using duct tape and all kind of stuff to do their own gas connections instead of calling the experts? Well, this is something that he's been advocating for in terms of off-reg and government having specific safety requirements in place. And well, the government been too busy to prioritize it. I bet you after yesterday's explosion, somebody can prioritize it now. And that might not even be the cause of the explosion, but this opens a whole can of worms around what he was saying. He was right here in the program saying, Sandy, look at some of the photos of what we've taken, what we've seen out in the field. People don't understand how disastrous and dangerous this situation is that they've created by trying to, jerry rig their own home gas, not home gas, but their own gas and propane connection. It is very, very dangerous. And yet people are out there doing it, trying to save a buck here and there. But when you take somebody's life, not saving a buck isn't going to make one bit of a difference. Yeah? So, shocking and unbelievable. And they just recently had a meeting scheduled with off-reg, home gas, and clean gas, because both home gas and clean gas they're out in the field, they see these things every day, trying to push for government to really put some enforcement in place and make it illegal for people to be jerry-rigging their own gas connections. So, Having said that, we got a caller. I can tell y'all something else here in a second. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sandy. Dexter here.
Hi, Dexter.
I agree that the planning authority does a good job in some instances, but it seems like one inspector will tell you one thing, and then the other one comes around and contradicts that. I have proof. My wife bought some property that is probably about 20, 25 years old. And every time she had so many obstacles in her way, they told her that she needed to put, because it's 10 apartments, she needed to put 10 garbage can holders. I went along and built that myself. I'm not a carpenter, but I know the structure. How to actually take a bulldozer, knock it down. And then the next inspector came out and says, no, because it's 10 apartments, now you gotta have what the hell you call it there, a dumpster. And then they realized the garbage truck wouldn't be able to get to that. Okay. But also, when was the last time that the inspectors went down? I know a lot of these places, the tenement yards, come under the grandfather clause.
Well, this is the problem. From what I'm understanding, there is no government inspection of these things. So these people are just jerry-rigging, especially when it comes to propane, whatever it is that they want. And then the second an explosion happens, we're assuming it's propane related. You know, the talk on the street is this likely has nothing to do with propane.
Sunday, I went down to, I can't hear you.
No, go ahead.
I went down behind the schoolhouse in Georgetown, the Georgetown Primary School. And they had wires from one apartment hanging, electrical wires hanging from one apartment to the next. This Miller guy, he had wood that was plywood that was actually, some parts of it was rotten. He was doing his best to make a living, but the people are paying you, and not just his. That's one that I can bring to my mind because I don't mind calling names when I have proof. And then there's other ones in the back there. It was disgusting. Why the hell does they have a law that you can go in there and say, listen, people that's paying you for rent, you should be able to have good, convenient homes or apartments for them.
Yeah, it needs to be the safety of, and I talk about this all the time. Even for NAU clients, one of the things that we see is, unfortunately, they always get the worst of the worst, right? And you go into some of these properties, the roofs are leaking. There's no home inspection for rentals. And this, I think, is something that has got to be addressed. We have home inspection. We have inspections for hotels because we're more concerned about, if a hotel visitor comes here, that they're not sleeping in a bed full of bed bugs. But yet residents and people who live and work in this country are living in accommodations that are horrific with all kind of, substandard living conditions. So I think along with addressing the whole housing situation holistically, government needs to put an inspection board in place, particularly for rentals. You should not be able to have a rental facility and have people living in some of the conditions that I have witnessed in this country. Safety, number one concern.
And Sandy, you're breaking up there.
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
But the thing about it is, I would prefer what I saw that day. I would prefer to have two hammocks, a hammock hang from two coconut trees and sleep in that rather than that. I know that bed can't be comfortable inside the apartments.
That's for sure.
I mean, it's a double standard with the planning authority. And I spoke to one of the the big honchos in the Planning Authority. They were doing some seminar at some place. I don't remember where it was. And he says, "Oh, they come under the grandfather clause." I said, "But there are people living in there. Why can't these people be taken into consideration to these landlords?"
All right, caller, leave me there. We have another caller on the line who wants to jump in on the conversation. Thanks, Mr. Dexter. Appreciate it. All right, my dear. Okay, caller, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, morning, Sandra. I just want to set the record straight. As far as the building control department starts planning,
yes,
they do require a propane installation permit. It's separate apart from the building permit.
Okay.
Whenever I submit drawings for construction of a house that's doing propane,
yes,
we have to submit the drawings, and off-reg, I think, is part of the inspection review process.
Okay.
And so Clean Gas, I know for sure, offers the service of doing the drawings to make sure that they are compliant.
Yeah. But what I'm talking about here, and I know obviously you in this industry, but I'm talking about people who just put up their own thing. There's no one going around doing random inspection of these locations to see whether or not they're compliant.
But let's be reasonable though, Sandra. I mean, here's the reality. What sort of workforce would be required to inspect every single house on this island? And because we don't know, this could have been a retrofit without, again, like I said, not properly done. You know, and go through the channels. And then also let's be understanding about this whole thing. It's all good and well for us to stand here and those of us who have the financial means to talk about doing it the right way. But as the days go by, the cost of living is going up higher. It's just the reality. People are going to do whatever they can to try to make it through to the next day, and some of that requires them to doing something themselves. It is unfortunate, but this is a fact of life the world over. And I'm not condoning. Let me be clear. I'm not condoning. But what I'm saying to you is, the harder life gets on this island, the more kind of.
But here's where I have an issue with that. Right, when it's a rental property and the person is boasting a 10% return on investment. Okay, they have it up for sale for $640,000. Tell me, you can get it. They're making $66,000 per annum rent on this. You mean to tell me you can't take some proceeds out of that and do things the right way?
Listen, again, let me just say, I'm not defending the homeowner and what was done here, and I agree with you. At the end of the day, if it's and the reality is, you're saying that the property was for sale because of some other reason, or is it just they just?
No, I mean they had it for sale. They'd added on to the property, no planning permission, right, to add on. So we don't know what kind of safety considerations or whatever went on to this additional piece, as you can see here in this photo, that was added on. Here's another nugget: the gas tank. You see the big tank that's in the back. You guys might have seen it on our live stream. We have it from a very reliable source. That tank was obtained recently. I mean, really recently, and nobody knows where the tank even came from. They did not obtain it from Home Gas.
Isn't there a name on it?
Whose name?
I don't know. Is there a name on it?
It's a Home Gas, the big one. I forget what the size of that is. It's
like
one of
90 gallon. That's a 90 gallon tank.
Yeah, it's one of Home Gas's tanks, but it didn't come from Home Gas.
Well, I mean, there's tanks floating around, but therein lies my point. But here's the important part about this tank that's still intact, is that the safety valve works.
That's right. Those tanks back there didn't have any, the tanks back there didn't have any damage to them whatsoever.
Yeah, the safety valve worked. So whatever malfunctioned happened between the tank and the appliance, clearly. I mean,
if that's what it is,
And to be clear, propane will cause that kind of explosion if it's floating in a room,
right?
Void like that, and that was significant, and that's left on for a amount of time, and someone comes and flicks on a switch, go to light a lighter or creates a spark of some sort, it will create that kind of explosion. And if you doubt me, just all you have to do is go onto YouTube or Google and check out.
You said it would. Sorry, you said it would or wouldn't create that kind of explosion.
It would.
It would.
Yes. You're filling a room with propane, and then you get a spark to that. So nothing like gas and oxygen to create a nice big boom. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. I wanted to add to that. The building department really does have this here, but the logistics of going around and inspecting. Now, here's where probably home gas and clean gas is probably what you're talking to the ministers about, is that giving them some sort of I don't know, not necessarily authority, but some sort of filing or reporting system for all of their LPG customers, so that they can then just say, all right, we have this list here, and they can be sort of a de facto agent to do an inspection or whenever, every year or whatever, to say, all right, we delivered to Joe Blow down the road, and it's been a year since we've seen their
basically maybe they shouldn't provide propane to anyone who's not done it the right way.
Yeah, but then how do you police the barbecue grill propane?
Well, I was going to say that one's always going to slip under. Yeah,
exactly, because I can tell you that most of these what we call tenement yards are that's what they operate with. Now that wasn't the case here from what we can tell based on documents, but we have to wait till all the facts are provided. But the reality is that most of these little studio units here, and then because they're so easy to steal, people store them inside. You got the double jeopardy there, and therein lies your problems. So there's no easy way around this. There's no answer around this. And again, back to my whole point, the harder life gets around here, the more frequent you're going to see these kind of accidents occurring, because it's just the fact of life. And I don't know what the answer is to that. But I thought I'd just add my 2 cents there. Have a good day.
I appreciate it. Thanks very much. All right, folks, 936-2626. Obviously the investigation is afoot at this stage. Multiple agencies investigating. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Morning.
Morning.
I don't mean to take you off track at all, but as he's talking about filling a room, a mistake that people make sometimes is carrying a fairly empty gas container in their car. Can get the same effect. So be careful with that.
Listen, I mean, propane is relatively safe if you handle it properly. I mean, obviously it's a gas, right? So you have to be careful with these things. I see people, electricity, this and that. Listen, you can have an explosion with electricity too. In fact, most of the fires that we've had on this island that have destroyed structures entirely have been electrical in nature. They've not been propane related. So, I mean, I don't know when there was a last time that something like this happened, but when you do things, and I understand the previous caller's point, what Eddie was saying, people are going to start cutting corners and this and that because of the cost of living. What about the cost of life? Forget about the cost of living. And if you want to be in the rental business where you're actually making money off of other people, you have got to be willing to spend money. It's business 101. I tell people this all the time. I'm a small business owner and I understand the crunches and the money that it takes to do everything. But guess what? You have got to be willing to spend money in order to make money. If you're in the rental business, you have got to be prepared to spend money, especially when it comes across the safety of your house and your facility, right? It's not fair for you to be going and adding on and not getting proper planning permission so that we can ensure that everything has been done in accordance with the required codes. That's not right. You are potentially, forget about the money. You're talking about you saving. If you can't afford to do it, don't add on the addition. To me, this is just unadulterated greed. This ain't got nothing to do with, we can't afford. Listen, there's haves. That's what my aunt always says. There's haves and there's wants in life, right? Some things you want and you can't afford it. Don't put your hat higher than you can reach. If you have a house that is just a tenement yard, I mean, you're living somewhere else and you can afford to live somewhere else. So I'm not sure how bad things are, but you need to budget. So if you're making, according to the ad where this is advertised, you can make all this income per month off of rental. If you're making that kind of income per month off of rental, you mean to tell me that you cannot plan. So according to this, if I do the calculations right, they said You're making $66,000 per annum. That's $5,500 per month of rental income. Let's assume a part of that is still going to mortgage. I'm sure the house probably not mortgage free. Yeah. Say $2,500 is going towards mortgage. That's still $3,000 that you're making per month. What are you spending it on that you can't go and get things done properly? Where did this mysterious gas tank come from? Home Gas obviously didn't supply you the gas tank. It wasn't even yet connected, that big one that you saw in that picture. So this is where I want people to be very, very cautious. See what somebody say? They put some little eyes on the gas tank. For those of you listening to the radio, this is kind of funny. They put some little eyes on the gas tank and said, quick to blame me though. That one was not even connected. Y'all sit there. They got the tank and hadn't connected it yet. And only God knows where they went and got the tank from. Y'all need to be very careful with all this jiggy-rigging foolishness, because you are going to cost somebody their life. And then when they sue you, some people, the house was in foreclosure and this and that. Well, all I know is you can't sell a house that is subject to a planning enforcement order. I hope y'all know that. When you're adding on and building without planning approval, and then planning say, come now, this is not going to work. You have to go back and pay additional fees because now they can penalize you. How stupid is that? You're going to get penalized for not going to planning and not going through the correct route. And then what? You still got to find money, don't you? You still have to then beg planning to not have you tear it down completely. You have to ask planning to then approve it for you. It don't make no sense. Believe me, you. Someone just showed me something here where people online are selling gas tanks. And I don't know, again, what the law is around this, but I think, we have to be very, very careful with this sort of thing. You buy a gas tank from this looks like one of the small ones though, so I'm not so sure that this is an issue, but you buy these little gas tanks from God knows where, and then you expect that the little maintenance guy in your house who claims he's a jack of all trades, that he's going to be able to put it together for you. Sure he is. The question is it going to be done in the right way? And is it going to be done in accordance to, safety standards? I'm telling you all, I'm a propane user and I get it. I know how much it costs. We have a water tank that's propane. We have a stove, gas stove, and we have a dryer. We have 3 major appliances and now we have a backup generator that's propane as well. Yeah. And so when we were like, okay, we're gonna invest in a backup generator. This was a household decision, mostly for storm redundancies and stuff like that. So you see, don't really go out that often. It wasn't really that. It was more like storm time and so on, right? We had to have Home Gas come out, designers come out. If you want to put your thing over here, this is where it has to run. If you want it on this side of the house, nope, can't go over there. We're going to have to, trench underground and go 50 feet this direction, whatever. Then if you put it over on this side, you're next to the solar panel, the electrical box. You can't have it that close. You have so much offset. I mean, listen, there is a reason why planning has the rules that they have in place. Yes, it's a pain in the rear end. You want to put up a dish, planning tell you got to get permission from them. You want to put up fencing, you got to get planning permission if it's over a certain height requirement. You're adding on to your house. You want to do a little pool, a little outside barbecue decking area. You're supposed to go to planning approval, but there are reasons why. Recently, I found out things that I'm not in the planning business. I'm not building no house. I didn't know these things. If you're going to put in a pool, it has to be, there's an offset, not just from your boundaries, like your neighbors and stuff like that, but from the very septic tank. And of course, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, well, duh, that makes perfect sense. You're going to be dredging into the ground for a pool. Of course, you don't want it that close to your septic. Hello. Any seepage, that could be a nasty situation, a health concern. So, planning has rules and regulations in place for a reason. It's not just to inconvenience you and to make you spend a pile of money. They have hurricane and building standards, right? So I want to add a little outside deck to my house. And the guy was like, okay, we got to put in for planning approval. The architect, let me draw the designs and let's see what planning says. This is one of those, I'm just going to order it from overseas and have it put together because God knows it's still going to be cheaper, right? And then he's like, okay, but I can already see that this is only good up to category 3. Planning's going to want, reinforcement of the top. So you'll put in some extra straps and this, that, and the next thing. I said, okay, if that's what's required, you have to be willing to do it. This is not a need. This is a want. If I can't afford to go to planning and to do it the right way, then I must not do it none at all. I'll just have more free space in my yard to just chill out in the hot sun and have no shade. That's how you all need to start looking at this. Stop finding an excuse to abuse the system. I'm talking about you can't afford it. If you can't afford it, then you don't do it. Yeah. It's a basic principle in life. Y'all want to drive around in fancy cars that you can't afford either. When the car breaks down, oh God, I can't afford to fix it. Don't drive the car. Don't buy the car. Buy economical cars. Buy yourself a beautiful Honda Fit. They last forever. They drive good, honey child, and parts are readily accessible and relatively inexpensive. Yeah. This idea of wanting to put our hats higher than they should really be is going to be the ruination of this country. I understand all the concerns about the cost of living, but a lot of you aren't really dealing with real cost of living concerns. You still want to live a highfalutin life. How many of you have made sacrifices? Oh, my CUC bill, cost of living. And every time I look at you, nails done, hair done, bonket done, you're going and get all kind of plastic surgery, this and that. I'm like, where are the priorities? Right? Some of y'all live up in the salon more than beauty queens do. And I'm just like, huh? Yeah. But yet you complain. Every time I go grocery store, boy, the cost of milk going up. Really? I mean, we all have to make sacrifices, my love. So I don't know what caused this explosion, but I have my doubts about it being gas related. And if it's gas related, I want to know who put in the gas tank. Because like I said, there's a tank sitting there ready to be connected that certainly did not come from home gas. So what other kind of jerry rigging been going around the place? And that's the big tank. I'm just saying, there's a lot of questions. You guys have a lot of questions about this young man who got the burns. I mean, I don't know if you saw the picture with his burns. Again, if you're easily sensitive, maybe now is the time to not watch this part. He sustained some burns. I thought it was far worse than that, honey child. He was still walking around. So, I mean, somebody says, was it a meth lab? I don't know if Caymanians are that sophisticated yet as it relates to meth labs. But, I'm not putting nothing past y'all when it comes to the drug thing, because y'all seem to be taking that in a whole other direction. But let me see here now if I can find the picture of him. I mean, he has some burns for sure. And burns can be very dangerous because they can easily get infected. And so, but he was still walking around with a water glass in his hand. So I think he'll be all right. He didn't look too injured. But of course, like I said, because of the nature of what burns are, you've peeled away that protective layer of the skin, right? So you do want to make sure that they're treated properly. And if they're any kind of, if the burns were caused by any sort of substance, you again want to know what that substance is so the person can be treated accordingly. So let's have a look. This undoubtedly could have been so much worse than what it was. My God. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. That fire could have been caused by a septic explosion if the septic was not vented.
Wow. I've never even heard of a septic explosion before. But I mean, I think if it was a septic explosion, we would have probably smelt the septic and that would have been all over the place.
No.
No?
No. It's the gas explosion at the top. Doesn't necessarily blow out the rest of it. It blows out.
What mess.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, that stuff is gaseous. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, caller.
You're welcome.
What a mess. This is why the investigators on the scene now, honey child, so they can hurry up and come to a conclusion. I guess OFREG will be leading the investigation and issuing a public report, I hope. So here is this man with some burns on his arms, his extremities, arms, and his legs primarily. Not too much on the body, which, I mean, the location of the burns, I think, is also somewhat interesting. But yeah, he's walking around, and there he is. Survived to tell the tale. And I'm sure the police now are also carrying out their part of the investigation, where they're interviewing people to see, you know, what were you doing when this explosion occurred? Now, there is a very pervasive rumor that is circulating about somebody making a bomb. I don't know anything about that. Why would somebody be making a bomb? And what would you be making a bomb out of? I mean, let's be clear here. This sounds like a crazy story, but it is the one that has grown the most legs in terms of the rumor mill. And I want to caution people, you know, because I don't know that there's any supportive evidence. I've not heard of anything supportive, but I can tell you what, that is running like wildfire through the community, that something else was going on here, and seeking to put blame on the young man. So Kara says you can make bombs from peroxide, bleach, baking soda, etc. So bombs are not that difficult to make. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, but again, why? I mean, the house just went up for sale on the 30th of the month, so not even a full week yet. The house has been up for sale. Did he not want the house to be sold? Is somebody trying to collect an insurance money? I mean, there's so many possibilities. Sarah Sue says that was not a bomb. I don't know what it is, honey chia. Alejandro says anything with compression can be a bomb. House insurance. I mean, I doubt he's the beneficial owner, but you know, did he not want the place to get sold? I mean, what the heck? All speculation at this point, folks, because we have to wait until the official investigation has taken place. Somebody just sent me some other pictures of the conditions that people are having to live in as it relates to rentals. And they said that this is a house down in Wiltshire Drive that people are living in. Looks like it has some kind of water damage on the floor and stuff like that. Folks, I mean, you can't be a slumlord, huh? Let me be very, very clear. There's different types of landlords out there. And there's some people who just want to make money at any cost, and they don't care how people are living and what conditions. You know, I've often thought about it, because obviously the rental business can be, it's obviously lucrative, right? So I've thought about it. You know, if I had some extra money, maybe I'd get into the rental business. Then the other side of me is like, Sandy, you ain't got the patience for that, girl. You ain't got the patience for them people and the stress they'd be trying to put you. Girl, they'd all be featured on CMR. Jackass of the day. Every day. But I also believe that landlords have a real responsibility to their tenants. Tenants have a responsibility and landlords have a responsibility. Let's be very, very clear. Yes? Landlords must provide a livable space that is safe and conducive. Now, some of y'all complain about everything. You're like Goldilocks and the three bears. Where's I getting 7 bears from? Goldilocks and the 3 bears. Oh, the porridge is too hot. Then it's too cold. Oh, the bed is too hard. Then it's too soft. So some of y'all do complain about everything. And that's the kind of tenants that nobody really wants, right? But legitimately, there are some horrible landlords out there. This is somebody sending in some pictures of the flooring. It obviously has water damage. So it looks like there's some sort of leak on this floor. It's a board floor, wood floor. And, you know, things like this that go untreated, water damage and so on, leads to mold and mildew, which are sporous things that can be very toxic, and they can physically make you sick. I have seen this don't look too bad compared to some of the things that I have seen that are really, really horrible. I mean, honestly, this looks pretty good, if you can believe it. We need to have some sort of a rent board that can go around and inspect these so-called rental properties. Just show up and do inspections. Because to think that people are living in all sorts of conditions where they are not in a safe environment, I think is really, really ridiculous. And because we have such a large expat population here, it's like people are like, oh, well, I don't care. You should care, because a life is a life. It's just ridiculous. Ms. Darlene says, let's wait for the report. I think that that's the best approach because we just do not know. They're there on location now, as we said, carrying out the respective investigations. We'll soon find out one way or the other what has transpired and what has happened here. Average 10 says, whatever it is or was, it's nothing that would have caused a fire. If it was electrical, if it was natural gas, and you have so much debris, of course you do have a fire, especially when it comes to electric. As an electrician, I can tell you. So whatever it was nothing that would cause a fire. I'm not so sure that puts us that much further ahead, but okay. So Sarah Sue says, I hope this is a lesson and living conditions are looked into, because for too long, people have been taken advantage of. And I think really that is the bottom line, right? The homes, a lot of the homes here, and especially if they're rental properties, but I even see people themselves living in conditions that I'm just like, you built this for yourself to live in? And then I have to think about maybe where they're coming from. This is still a little palace to them. Yeah. Some months back, I got to give you all a little story here. Some months back, I actually went and looked at a property, and they were boasting about, oh, it's a rental, again, tenement yard is what we can call them. All these tenants. And it's one of those homes that they must have tried building it out of pocket, honey child. And, it takes them forever to build it. So every section is different. Every room has a different tile on the floor, because by the time they finally got around to adding on that room and doing that room, that tile was no longer available. It was like a hodgepodge of a mix-up house, right? So nothing, there was no consistency. Aesthetically, the place was a nightmare. I'm like, oh my God, seriously. Even part of the kitchen cabinets were like different, because they start and then had to stop, I guess, and earn more money. And I'm like, people kind of do what they have to do, but you can't be trying to command no big time dollar when you're trying to sell this hodgepodge mix up of a house. So anyway, I was looking at it and I'm like, but again, the selling point is, oh, now we've chopped it up into 5 or 6 rental pieces, because everybody gets a little room, right? So you can make all this rental income off of it. So people see that as an attractive investment. I saw it as a little bit of a dump, to be honest. And I was like, oh God, I mean, I wouldn't want to live here. And I'm not going to buy this property and force other people and expect other people to live here. But I went and looked at it. Pictures, you can't always tell from pictures how a place really looks until you see it, right? And I remember saying to the realtor, how was this place built? Oh, well, the husband is an electrician, or he works some kind of construction. So he kind of did a lot of it himself. I'm like, oh yeah, I can tell. This looks like, I can tell. He did a lot of it himself. This is horrible. Like, no kidding. Trying to save money. And now that they're selling it, knowing that they didn't even invest that much money into the house because they didn't pay anybody to do the job, they're commanding top dollar. This is how ridiculous Cayman is, right? And Caymanians, right? Trying to now command top dollar for a property that I'm like, if I had $700,000, I wouldn't be spending it on this house. And I'm certainly not going to go to the bank and trying to get a $700,000 mortgage for this piece of crap that is a hodgepodge and mix up. And, I'm just like, what? I think that, I'm guessing the house is probably still in the market, to be honest. But I was just like, I don't know who this house would be attractive to. Now people are trying to get out, they're trying to collect a big paycheck off of this situation that they put together. No standards whatsoever. I'm not interested in becoming a slum lord. Caller, good morning.
Morning. I agree with the things that I heard Eddie say.
Mm-hmm.
What he was outlining and the different points he was making, I think is very, very reasonable. Not I'm not saying that, you know, we know exactly what the cause of this is, but if you think about what the probabilities are, I think he made a pretty good stab at it. And but the thing is that this thing about, you know, chopping up a house and so forth. When the house was originally built, it was built for a certain number of bedrooms.
That's right.
That's how they measure the density on a piece of property. And so what I would ask myself if I think about the advertisement that I hear you describing is, since they have now come up with these extra bedrooms, are they still within the density requirements for planning?
Yeah.
That's
And
another element
we've
you
talked
start
about this in relation to high density areas such as Windsor Park, for example. Windsor Park was never designed to have as many people living in that area as what there are now. And that's just simple mathematics. So a house that might have been designed to occupy, you know, 2-3 bedrooms now has 10, 15 people living in it. It was never designed for that. And it's a safety hazard. And planning has no clue. These people have added on and put together homes. Planning has no clue. The police don't have no clue. Nobody has a clue how many people are actually in that household. So the day an explosion happens down there, you're going to be like, ooh, how many bodies are we trying to recover? They don't know. And this is a very dangerous situation. And every time ESO goes around trying to collect their data, those same people be cussing Karen on, like, I don't want ESO in my business. What are they coming to my front door for?
Well, regarding the people renting substandard units, I think if you went to the grocery store and they wanted to sell you rotten cabbage, would you buy it?
Absolutely not.
So why would you rent something that's substandard?
I mean, if you have a choice, you don't. But this is the sad part, is that because
you would buy the rotten cabbage?
No. Let me say this. Because the rental market is what it is, and it's so hard for people to find rentals, sometimes, unfortunately, people have to compromise and take something that's less than the standards that they would like. I see it all the time. It's very, very sad.
You see, this is where not addressing the core issue of the landlord failing to properly maintain the property is the issue.
Right.
What Eddie's point about inspections is that it can go too far in the other direction, because think about what's going to happen. If you demand that there be this and that additional requirements, the cost of living is going to go up. So it's either you can't afford it, so you live in a substandard, or you actually address that issue, or you're not actually able to afford the rent. The place is nice and stuff now, but you can't afford the rent. So you see what I'm saying? There's no substitute for actually facing the issue. And
there seldom is.
Consumer.
There seldom is a substitute.
Yes, and well, when I say
but there can be a balance that can be struck, right? We're not asking people, and this is why I said people need to know how high they can put their hat. So we're not asking people to build $1 million homes. We're asking you to have some basic minimum standards of safety first and foremost. Okay.
But the safety.
So not jerry rigging gas tanks, not having your friend who really has no true electrical qualifications. He claims he's a jack of all trades, and somebody said a jack of all trades and a master of none. Not having him come in and do the electrical work for you if he doesn't even have the requisite qualifications to do so.
Yeah, but what Eddie was explaining is important, because most of the safety issues that you're talking about is already in the development plan and regulations.
But there's no inspection and enforcement.
Wait, let me finish the thought. Where you're describing the problem is that, okay, so that planning is dealing with things that are installed, like they're not dealing with dirt on the floor. They're dealing with, is the floor structurally sound? Is the roof structurally sound?
But we're not dealing with dirt on the floor either.
Okay, what are you dealing with?
We're dealing with leaks, structural issues, roof with a big hole in it. Remember that when I showed the video where the baby's on the bed and the water's coming down on the child? You should not be living in a house with a hole in the roof.
Okay. If you, Sandra, was living in a house with a hole in the roof, would you lay there in bed and let the water run on you, or would you say something?
They're saying something to landlords who don't care.
Okay.
So who are they saying it to?
And that's all they're doing. They're only saying it to landlords. They're not going to planning. They're not going to the government and saying, well, what are you doing about this? All they're doing is they're just saying it to the landlord and nothing else. Is that what they're doing?
Well, I mean, these people are oftentimes afraid. That's why they be calling, messaging me, Sandy, what am I going to do? I'm afraid that I'm an NAU client, right? If I complain to anybody about this, I'm going to get kicked out. And then I don't have anywhere else to go.
You think that NAU
don't even do inspections of where they're sending people, and I think that's a shame. They should.
Well, if you're talking about that specific scenario, yeah, that would be a shame, because I would imagine that. Yeah, but I would imagine, say, if I go into the grocery store and I'm buying a cabbage, I'm going to make sure that the cabbage isn't spoiled before I buy it. Why would NAU rent a house with a hole in the roof? I got you. I got that.
Well,
I'm just saying,
you'll have to ask them why.
It's foolish to buy something and not know what you're buying.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm criticizing.
And here's the worst part.
They don't know.
Here's the worst part, Denny. Here's the worst part when it comes to NAU. A lot of times they are paying top dollar, as far as I'm concerned, for some of these rat-infested holes in the wall. What they're paying for it is ridiculous for what they're getting from these slumlords. NAU should be inspecting these properties because they're not livable. And our money, the people's money, is being spent on these accommodations. And these people are doing all sorts of stuff. The other day, I had a young lady message me on a Sunday morning. She receives partial rent assistance from NAU. She pays part herself because she has a little job and she's got kids. She wakes up one morning and the landlord has cut off the water, right? She has to go shower to go to work. She said, Sandy, it's that time of the month and I can't even have a bath before going to work. You know how unsanitary and disgusting having to be in a situation like that must be?
Why did the landlord cut off the water?
Because NAU's payment was late.
Again.
But hold on now.
Really poor.
Hold on. When I started doing the digging to find out why NAU's payment was late, the real story now, listen to this part of the story, is that the landlord had not gone in, right? Because there's an agreement that has to be drawn up. The landlord had not gone in and signed their portion of the agreement. Documentation has got to be signed. So the
you can only hear this kind of stuff.
The NAU agreement, this is what my source said, remains unsigned. And NAU cannot process payment without a signed agreement. Once the NAU client and the landlord has to both sign it, payment can be processed. But you see, this is the foolishness that is happening out in these streets.
Thank you for the laugh. It's funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's laughable because it's unbelievable. Anyway, thank you, caller.
All right.
936-2626, folks. I don't make this stuff up. I don't have that much of an imagination. Honestly, this is what is actually happening to people. Can you believe it? Boy, I tell you what. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, morning again.
Morning, my dear.
The problem is that 3/4 of the rental properties didn't go through planning.
Well, this is exactly the problem.
Yeah, exactly, and it's a political thing.
Yeah.
Because they know planning knows about it, but they refuse to enforce it because
Well, I'll tell you what.
who knows me and who I know. And it's as simple as that.
I'll be fair to planning, right? I know that they got a lot of enforcement notices and stuff out there, but the process is so long, and what they have to do to actually, force somebody to eventually tear it down or do something about it. They can go back and then apply to have it, approved after the fact. So there's that. There's just so many aspects to the law that have to be complied with from the perspective of planning, that I think it really puts planning at a disadvantage. But of course, nobody's going to want to change any of that, because then you're going to say, well, then planning becomes too heavy-handed and it's not fair to the average homeowner. So, I mean, they're trying to strike a balance, right? But
and planning the places aren't allowed to the parliament law, aren't allowed to have apartments onto it. Planning them are just for domestic dwellings, and all of that is being done now against the law when they add on or when they are configure the homes and all that. And what most of the people that are renting are people on work permits that can't afford to pay for a decent place for the salary that they make. If they got play for a decent place that went through planning and everything, then they wouldn't have any money to feed themselves or to pay anything else. So that's why they get these other little places to go and rent out. It's simple as that. They're big market. They're big marketplace rather than the people that really got a good place to rent. They're being rent more. So that's it. So it's immigration and government that refuse to do the thing. Every person that come onto this island, they got put on their permit where they're staying, or even if they come here visit, whatever, they got put where they can stay.
Yeah.
So if that place is down
90%
there,
of those are not kept up to date, because if they move, they never notify immigration.
Yeah, okay, and all of that should be against the law again against immigration. So they aren't doing their part either, and all that is political. It's simple as that. Who I know and who know me, it's simple as that on this island. Yeah, you could have a place that is leaking and I got no plans and all that to do it, and you just get it done just because I know somebody that could make things happen. It's a sad situation, but that's what's going on.
Thank you so much, caller. It is really a sad situation, to be honest. And there's so many abuses that it's just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I see and hear so much of what's happening out there that it really is shocking. People taking advantage of NAU as well. There are people who claim to be entering into a rental agreement with someone. They never spent a day in their rental. So that person renting it out to somebody else was still collecting the NAU money for it, giving the NAU client some of the money, and then they take a cut. I mean, listen, there's way too many abuses happening in this country, and we have got to find some better ways of tightening the situation and really having some proper enforcement as well. Housing is but one area. Housing standards is but one area. Oh my gosh. Shanoska says, Cayman life is getting harder. Stacy says that these slum lords soon have tenants paying their property tax too. Well, thankfully, we don't pay property tax in Cayman yet. There are other things that they might have to pay for. AHA Janitorial says Cayman is going to end up like Florida. Maybe you could be more specific in what regard. Stacy says the things they're adding to these tenant agreements is ridiculous that they want tenants to pay for. So yes, I mean, I've heard of people having rental property, and it's almost like people don't even know how to be a landlord. And they're wanting tenants to pay for like pest control, maintenance things that they should be doing, like AC maintenance and filter changes and all that kind of stuff. They're expecting the tenants, hear how crazy this is. They are expecting the tenants to pay for those things. I'm like, hold on a second. You're a landlord. And you expect to simply make money and never have any expenses for the maintenance of your property? So if you want to power wash the property, it becomes the responsibility of your tenants for that cost to be passed on to them? I mean, some of y'all landlords need to have your head checked. Because I know y'all can't be thinking straight. Seriously. I've never heard of such foolishness in all my life. And by the day, I keep shaking my head with the stories that are becoming more and more prevalent. How can you, every house needs to have some degree of pest control treatment. Yes? That's just how it is. How on earth do you expect your tenants, in addition to paying the rent that they're paying already, to pay for all these ancillary fees and extras? It's like, what? Are y'all crazy or what? No, sir. I have not heard of such. I don't know. But you know, there's no laws, there's no protection, there's no consumer protection, there's nothing in place. So what are you going to do? It's the poor tenants left on their own to have to stand up for each other or stand up for themselves. Let me share another story that came to my attention recently, right? Listen to how abuses are happening in this country. Let me see if I can find this story now. This is a woman who reached out. And of course, again, people are afraid. Oh, I'm new to the island. You know, I don't want to cause any waves or this or that. So let me share this story with y'all. So this lady is she's from the UK. Here it is, hot mess now. She says, hey, I'm hoping to keep this anonymous at the moment, but just wanted some advice. I'm fairly new on island, and my previous landlord did not give me any water bill statements until they became past due. And I had already left the property. It was short-term lease, but I left at 3 months, so she kept my $2,000 plus deposit due to that. I attempted to dispute paying the past due charge, as I was never informed about the water bill from her until I had left and was unaware I would have to call them each month and never received anything via PO box from the water company either. Still nothing up to this day, apart from the past due letter. I set up an arrangement with the water authority to pay each month and pay the first installment, as she advised me to do, the landlady. However, she ended up settling the amount. Hear this crook of a landlady. I really want to know who this woman is. She ended up settling the amount without notifying me and creating a new agreement between us. Hear the crookedness, Naina. Where would you say I stand legally? As my agreement was with the water authority, not her directly, and she took upon herself to settle the amount despite me having a signed agreement with the water authority. Sorry for the long-winded message, and thank you for your time. So, of course, I'm reading this confused as heck. I'm like, huh? I'm not sure I understand this. So, first of all, she kept your deposit, and you're still having to pay a late bill from the water authority? So I'm like, how much was the bill? So here now how this story gets even more interesting. So she was a tenant from February through April the 1st. My lease agreement was until July, but I broke the lease early, to which she kept my security deposit. Let me say this. You can have a 1-year lease, a 6-year lease, right? And I said, let me see the lease agreement. And I did review the lease agreement, and it did not say that if you leave early in excess of the 6 months, you're going to lose your security deposit. It's a question of whether or not you give notice within the fixed term of that lease. So in other words, if you have a 6-month lease, a lot can happen while you have to leave within 6 months. If you give her 1 month's notice because you're paying your rent on a monthly basis, that's normally the notice period. You give her 1 month's notice, she should not be keeping your deposit money. But you see, these are the abuses, folks, that are happening in this country. And these poor expat workers have nobody to speak up for them. This landlord should be ashamed of herself. How are you going to take somebody's security deposit money? And she gave her 28 days notice. Well, that's close enough to a month. She even offered, I will find somebody else, right, to take over the lease. She just wanted to keep that $2,200. You see how crooked these people are? And I must feel sorry for them because they don't want to get pay planning fees when they want to add on another room to hoodwink somebody else. Y'all have got to be kidding me. Under no circumstances. This is pure, unadulterated greed. So I understand Eddie's point, but Eddie's not talking about most of these landlords because most of these landlords are thieves and slumlords and don't know how to be fair to people. So in addition to keeping the woman's $2,200 deposit, she got to turn around and say to her, oh, because I never gave your water bill in 3 months, now it's overdue and you have to pay that as well. Why you don't take it out of the $2,200 that you're illegally keeping, by the way? I told this woman I would not have entered into any agreement with her or water company. And then you see the sly move. She go pay it off with water authority and then turn around and tell the woman that, oh, she must pay her directly. Hear how ridiculous the bill was. The bill was $500, which included the past due amount. I don't know what kind of water this woman was using. The initial bill for the first 2 months I was there was over $300. Now, y'all know something is wrong. Unless this woman is bathing 24/7. And even then, to have a $300 water bill for a single person is shocking. Somebody else probably using the water. And again, this woman, this landlord, is hoodwinking this woman. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Now, she says the landlord stated that the realtor stated that I could give notice, which I did. However, the property owner stated that because I broke my lease earlier than the 6 months, I agreed to stay, she would keep the deposit. I offered to find a new tenant and take over the lease, and she declined. You can imagine? In a little 1-bedroom, 1.5 bath. This person's only been on island for 3.5 months. Of course, you know, they don't know what to do. And I said, listen, you were taken advantage of. I can tell you, legally and just morally, you were taken advantage of. Oh, yes, I do have the landlady's name here. Absolutely ridiculous. Nothing in this little jerry-rig lease, all 3-4 pages of it, there's nothing in here that says that if you break this lease, you're gonna, because that's not even allowed by law. The woman gave notice. That's the standard. That's the legal standard, right? Lease renewal, it says at the end of the lease agreement, this lease will come to an end and will continue in full force and effect on a month-to-month basis unless the tenant or landlord provides written notice to the other part at least 30 days before the end of the... On what basis do you think she kept this woman's money? $2,200 CI? You know, this is the stuff that grieves me. Honestly. That is just wrong. That's what people are facing on a regular basis. Landlords like this. And no one is out there. Someone says, hey, was the lady you were talking to speak to you on the video, the owner of the house that was destroyed yesterday? And she said, no, not now, and walked away, a Honduran lady. She might be from Honduras. She's a Watler. And somebody who's family to her, who's also from Honduras, said, yeah, they family. So probably, she's probably from Honduras. So I guess, could be. I think so. I'll find out, but I that sounds logical. Okay, there's some sort of incident in Windsor Park. Is this another accident? What is this one? Somebody's in the ground and the ambulance is there. Fire ambulance crews, they really earning their money. These days, them and police. Planning, not going to do anything. We had a neighbor who had no egress, and we contact planning because we saw it being dangerous to have a back door with no step or patio. Okay. And out and something planning a year, and it took planning a year to contact them after we've been on their backs. Forgive my manners. Good morning, Miss Sandy. Well, I think one of the issues as well with planning is there is little to no, I mean, they have a difficult time really trying to have enforcement. They are short-staffed. Even getting inspections done is taking forever, so I suspect that they need more help. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on this investigation. This person says it had nothing to do with propane. Something's not right. And then they're sharing a voice note that has been going around. Let's hear what this voice note is. I'm assuming this is meant to be shared.
Okay, so this message I just forward, I got from one family member of theirs. Seems like Rexito, he named after his father, Rex Jr. We're trying to make a homemade bomb. But like how I say, he can keep me posted because he said he was going up by the hospital to see what was going on. Because it seems like it's a female, a child, and Rexito Jr. himself that is injured.
So there was a number of these voice notes that were definitely in circulation and going around where, people were essentially saying, that this is something was definitely afoot. Someone said, what about the incident with the construction workers with Debbie, the old crook? All right, let's talk about Debbie. I don't know who Debbie is, but yes, she did make it on our radar. On Friday, we started to receive some video footage of Debbie. This person says in 2014, there were 9,338 meth incidents in the U.S., including laboratories, dump sites, and seizures of chemicals and glassware. Using data from the United States Drug Enforcement Association, we examined trends and tracked the locations of those clandestine meth labs across the country. Almost 10,000 incidents. Has a meth lab ever been found in the Cayman Islands? I don't know. Okay. So a little update on Sean Bodden. He's back on island. He's decided to return. Oh, so he didn't run permanently. That's good. This is a police officer. So he had court yesterday for breaching the protection order. He was arrested last week, given bail. So now he's finally going to get a divorce. Okay, well, that sounds about right. He should do that. Yeah, just give this man a divorce. This is stupid. Give him the divorce and be done with him. Just get away. Let's see. Here's another voice note that we've received.
Morning, Sandra. Just watching your show. We had a similar incident happened here in Bermuda.
Oh, sorry.
A Filipino couple actually were killed. They came home from work, and when they entered their apartment, they hit the light switch, and it was a loud explosion. Pretty much destroyed the whole house. And investigation was carried out, and it was determined that it was a gas technician that came there early in the day, installed a new gas line, and it wasn't installed properly. So he's being charged with manslaughter. And very interesting incident there yesterday.
So that just happened yesterday in Bermuda. Similar situation. Hilltop explosion. Oh my God. And so this person, they're actually going to charge this person with some sort of murder or manslaughter. Oh my God, y'all got to see this picture. Wow. Listen, the workers who do these installations, I know that they have safety protocols that they follow, and they do take their jobs very, very seriously. We've had, like I said, to have some gas work done around the place, and everything is being followed to code. I mean, they are ensuring that planning comes out. Like I said, you putting in new stuff, new whatever with that gas line, planning is going to come out, and that's part of the process to get it signed off on. So don't mess around with this stuff. It's certainly not worth your life. That's for sure. And so have a look at this one that just happened yesterday in Bermuda as well. Let me just see if I can pull up this picture. This one's kind of shocking. My God. What a hot mess. Look at this. Nosa. That house is, wow. Unbelievable. But it looks like their investigation moved pretty quickly for them to already determine who's at fault and to be charging this guy with murder. This is quite interesting. Thank you so much to our listener. Like we said, we got listeners all over the world. This is a top fan from Bermuda who's always tuned into the program, listening and sharing some of the regional happenings with us as well. So this literally just happened yesterday. Shocking. What a hot mess. Okay. There you go. We'll send that to Renee. All right, so let's have a look now at this woman. Her name is Denise or something. She all right, hold on. This woman, the story is she has construction guys working for her, and then she refuses to pay them. And when they try to speak up, this guy actually, what he did was he actually recorded the video of his transactions with Debbie so that he could have some evidence. And of course, it started to go viral on Friday. And so we're going to show you guys now some of what, workers in this country are having to deal with, non-payment, and they're starting to get aggressive with their money. And I'm telling y'all that one of these days, somebody going to get boxed down or worse over employers who are refusing to pay people. If you work, you must pay people. It's as simple as that. I don't really know what excuse you would have for not paying people their money. So video number one, give me 1 second here. This woman's name is Debbie, and they say she does this kind of thing all the time.
Why not?
And this is headline, what trade man and contractors go through. So she's at a house location, looks like, and they're having an argument. So here's the video of it.
This was in it. I moved this was in it. I have video on it. All right. You come
no video. No problem.
Yeah. Simple.
Pay me, make me go on. Pay me.
No one say go. There is a procedure how you get paid. And stop video me. Stop videoing me. Stop video me. Why are you videoing me?
Because you get violent.
It's a problem, child.
You get aggressive. And you feel professional because you're in this game long. All me have said to you, when you put on the additional work, then additional price have to go on, Miss
You
Debbie.
are the one have just threatened me. You are the one that just made me afraid. You come here to make problem. You didn't come here to work. Period. You come here to make problem. You didn't come here to work.
Okay, Miss Debbie.
And any plan you
all
have,
me have said to you, see them.
any plan you have, the enemy have.
See them, me do all of the work, you know. We come to an agreement. $700. The work cheap. Me not nothing else I do. Me decide to me do it. Miss Debbie want the electrician change the box here, so move it come round here, so see there, move the electrician come and do all of these work.
You have been sent. You are demons. You are Satan.
First
Overworking in the Cayman
First of all,
you're a problem.
First of all, the bathroom not included. Mr. B just want to fix these all free of cost.
You're a Satan descendant.
All of the new changes.
You are a Satan descendant. Okay. You are a Satan descendant.
Okay, man.
You are sent, but again, you can't stop Debbie.
All right. So this is the foolishness that people have to put up with, right? When people are in the wrong, the first thing they want to do is call down on Jesus. You know, the good Lord got to start striking some of y'all down with something, you know. I am giving him full permission, dear Lord, not that you need it from me, but can you start striking these people with some of that lightning bolt? These people are ridiculous. When you calling down, talking about people are Satan's descendants, what does that have to do with you paying the man his damn money? Come on now. Fair is fair and right is right and wrong is wrong. But the first thing they want to do is, oh, yes, we got called down the Lord on you. Y'all need it. As a matter of fact, y'all should stay away from the church because it look like church only making y'all worse. Seriously? Well, that's only one video. Let's continue.
If you pay me my money, yeah. I'm not going to report it to Labour Board.
Me no pray to Labour Board. Stop, put your phone on my
Hey, look here. When she said she going to report him to Labour Board, did she just knock the phone at the man's hand? She lucky, you know?
If you pay me my money, I'm not going to report it to Labour Board.
Me no pray to Labour Board. Stop, put your phone on my face.
All of the assault, I pay me my money, make me go.
So she knocked the phone. Of course, that's common assault. And she lucky the man never box her. I mean, seriously? She knocked the man phone. I wonder if she'd break up the man phone if she was going to pay for that. Or she would have an excuse to be calling him the devil as well. No, sir. Look at her. She keeps assaulting the man.
Don't put no phone on me.
Police, y'all need to arrest Debbie. I don't know what fool Debbie
I'll
is.
tell her just pay me, make me go on. Or me just have to go down a Labour Board. That's it.
Now she talking about she being set up. Nobody not
it's
setting you up.
It's unfair.
Look at Debbie. Debbie has a bad temper. Please tell me, did we give Debbie status in this country? How is she hiring people? Who is she married to be able to stay in this country and act the fool and treat poor workers like this? No, sir. No, my dear. Let's make a few phone calls. Because Debbie look like she not got no sense. Wow. So, Debbie, even let me tell you how bad it is, right? We posted this video, and Caymanians who have resources. In other words, they money people, Caymanians in the construction business. One of them messaged me and said, "Hey, Sandy, I hear you're dealing with Debbie Brown this morning, mad woman. I had to run her from such and such property personally because she had all of those poor white fellas that were managing the project frightened to death." I said, "Oh." And I said, "Who the heck is Debbie?" Because, we post them. I don't know who the hell these people are. She says the one slapping the worker. So Debbie has a reputation that precedes her. So I know for a fact this is not a one-off situation with Debbie. This other person says, "I know Debbie well. And a few years ago, she claimed to be a Christian. Lord help her. Once you can't see eye to eye with her, she she was sent by the devil. She's crazy." Hot mess. All right, let's make a phone call, Nelson. All right, calling from the show line. Yes, let's get this person on the line who is familiar with Debbie and her antics. The only question I have is where Debbie come out from. Oh, we know she's from Jamaica, but I'm saying, what rights does she have to remain in this country? Because this is the caliber of person I have no fear in saying that we don't want here. Who is she? What fool went and married her? She probably beating them up too.
Hello?
Hi, good morning, caller.
Hi, good morning.
All right. Give us a lowdown on Debbie. What do you know about Debbie, and what are these videos that are circulating with her trying to beat people up?
Okay, so that's my husband in the video. He found a job on EK Trade.
Okay. Uh-huh.
He found a job on EK Trade on Tuesday. He messaged her about it. She said that she needed his passport and a bank account because that's how she runs her system. So he said he wasn't gonna bother with it because somebody had told him say that, oh, she's not really like a good person to work with. But he said she couldn't be that bad, so he gonna try her out because he was looking for something at the time. So she called him Wednesday morning, asking him say if he could meet her at this house to do some sheetrock work. He went. He got her. He couldn't. It was raining, but he was coming. When he got there, he did the work. Then the Thursday, the electrical guy came, did the changes, and she called him and was like, "Oh well, you can easily just do these little small changes because it's not gonna cost. You can do them for free because it's not gonna cost nothing." And he told her, "No, it's gonna cost extra money." She got aggressive with him, and he videoed everything that she did and took it to the police station, Bontown, and reported her. Then the Thursday night, a police from Georgetown police station calls him and tells him, do he know as to why he's being called? And he said, maybe it's about the report that he filed that day. And he said, no, Miss Deva called us to report that you threatened to kill her. And that's a lie. He has the video. If you look on the TikTok, you'll see the video part. She has the knife holding in her hand.
I don't know
There's
if
a video on the TikTok.
I don't know if I have that one, but maybe send that one to me because I have 3, and I see on multiple occasions she actually hits him. That's at least common assault. So why aren't the police doing something about her?
They're looking into it. They told him that they're looking into it.
Wow.
And when the police called him the Thursday night, the police was like to him, "Oh, if you on a work permit and you go back on her job site, you will be arrested and charged." My husband isn't on no work permit. He has his naturalization. He just recently got it. But she thought that he was here on a work permit because he sent her his Jamaican passport, not his Cayman passport. And that's report she got thing because she thought that he was Jamaican.
Yeah, so she thought she could take advantage of him from one Jamaican to the next.
Yes, ma'am.
She should know better because one of them Jamaicans soon chop her up if she's not careful.
Yes, ma'am.
What a heat. No, son. So it seems like this Debbie woman has quite a reputation. Do you know who she is? Who she married to? Because she got me married to some fool.
No, I don't know. I don't know who she's married to. All I know is her name is Deborah Brown. That's all I know about her.
All right. Well, we're going to get to the bottom of this one. Thank you so much, caller, for adding some additional information.
Yes, ma'am. I'll send you the videos too.
Yes, I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So while Debbie calling people devils, she looked like she need a dose of her head dunked in some good old holy water. Because I could tell you one thing, it wouldn't be me that she's slapping like that and not get a box back in the head. I'm a very non-violent person. Trust me when I tell you, I really, but there's certain things you don't do. You don't touch me. You don't put your hands on me because then we're in a different situation. And that's not violence, honey child. That could be self-defense when I box you down. Simple as that. And I hope the police now get this information right. Leroy says she's from Spanish Town. I don't care which town she's from. She could be from German Town. As far as I'm concerned, she really quite out of order. She need, like I said, she need a whole bucket of holy water, obviously. Denver says this is where status needs to be revoked. Can we all agree? Yes. Damien says check her heads for horns. Oh, I mean, all these people be giving Christianity a bad name. So Johan says that Debbie cusses you out live on air. This will be a show better than Tio George's show. Well, we're not calling Debbie while we're on the radio because Debbie, she better find her sense. She obviously has lost it, but she better find it. As Cara said, what a big box down she would have gotten if it was someone like me that she attacked. Like they said, Dape know who to frighten, right? Trust me. I think we're off here now, so I can tell y'all a couple things. I would have taken my foot. I'm not saying that I'm the biggest or baddest. I not fight in my adult life yet because that's just not me. I'm not into that. But you also not going to assault me and get away with it. I would have taken my foot and kick her right where she should have some nuts, but she clearly, I don't think, has any. I would still kick her right there and make it hurt. That's woman ridiculous. How'd she go around insulting this man like this? Marshall says she's like the Satan. She lucky it wasn't it wasn't my phone that she knocked out of my hand. You understand? These people are ridiculous. Miss Darlene is asking for the name of her business or company. We will soon find out. Damien says Labor Board and WORC is a joke. Well, they definitely need to be on this case. Yeah? Yasmin, good morning. Sarah Sue says he was so calm the entire time. Dape knew who to frighten. Yo, listen. But sometimes the calm ones be the ones who can punch you down. You know, you sit there. But I guess he knew he was planning on going to the police. But you see, she thought he was a Jamaican here in a work permit and she could get away with it. Oh, just add on this and do this little work for me. Remember the guy, what was her name? Miss Hazel? The next one taking advantage of Jamaicans again? Well, y'all own Jamaicans can treat y'all bad though. I hate to say it, but boy, bunch of crooks. Remember her taking advantage of little Jamaican workers? She'd do the same thing with him. Oh, fix this around the house for me. Just because she giving him a place to stay, he paying, contributing to groceries. It's not, she feel like he could fix up her place and she never have to pay him. The man got on to her real quick. And guess what? He eventually got his paychecks. What was owed to him, I think everything has been paid now. I can't remember if everything has been paid yet. But again, living up in church, knocking down church doors. Amori says, aggressive lady. Yasmin says, that's what they do, put God in their foolishness. Brenda says she could also be charged with destruction of property, of course, if she mashed up the man's phone. And you heard her words, me not afraid of no labor board. Me not afraid of no labor board. Really? So that probably means that you've had complaints before and absolutely nothing has happened to you. And that's why you're not afraid of labor board. Well, labor board and police need to deal with you as well as WORC as far as I'm concerned. Marshall says they're all Christians. It's a good thing God ain't like man. Trust and believe. Sarah says your hand and she will do it too. Laughing out loud. Who? Debbie gonna cuss me? I know well. She can cuss me all she wants, but she'll get a few choice words right back at her. It wouldn't be me. Miss Perla said this is better than Jerry Springer. She's ridiculous. Alejandro says immediate red flag. Vicky says popcorn. Shall we try calling Vicky? I mean, what her name is? Debbie this morning. Showdown, Auntie Sandy versus Debbie the Demon. Debbie the Demon. Ah, Lord have mercy. Woo, Vicky says yes. MR looking ice cream before noon on Mall Road. Who's MR? That Mario, what? He looking ice cream. Poor him. He another hot mess. Ay, ay, ay. You got Debbie's number? Let me see. So one of Debbie's contracts was with Fin South Sound. Oh, she never completed. She took they took the contract from her. She did the drywall from them. She personally learned the drywall work years ago, working on construction site. And she also have a daughter that went to school and have graduated 4 years ago. But how does Debbie come to Cayman? This is what I want to know. Who the hell is Debbie? How she get here? She's got to be married to some foo-foo Caymanian. So what's her Caymanian connection? Somebody said too many of these same Jamaicans here ruining Cayman. Now, we're not trying to put all Jamaicans in the same boat, but we talk about the no good ones. And trust me, enough of them to go around the place. I hate to tell you. Debbie had to run from Spanish Town. Here, what one of my Jamaican sources telling me now. Debbie had to run from Spanish Town. Her whole family are wicked. Her mother let police shoot and kill her own brother. Oh, Lord Jesus. And this is what we bring to Cayman? Say what? What the rotten? No, man. So, hi, Sandra. Need to find out what is her status, or if she has a business license, she gets away with too much wrong. Lord Jesus. The name of her company is based on the shirt Epic. Oh. Let me see her now. Let me see her now, honey child. Epic Drywall Finishers. Ooh. She even pulled a knife on him? Maybe he must have wanted somebody to box her down for real. Oh my God. Hold on. Hold on. Let's pull up the next one, honey child. Oh no, WORC, can we please strip some of these people of their immigration status? Y'all are making me feel embarrassed now to be Caymanian because this is what we're importing, riffraff like this.
Stop video me and come up on the side because you were saying state and descendant, you come to make problem, you didn't come to work. State and descendant, you didn't come to work, you come to make problem.
If you pay me, all of them
pay up, how much?
Pay me for the work, what we do?
How much?
So that was a knife in her hand. Wow. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, you know what, Sandra, the way how that seems, right? It seems like she's spoiled. Like she got too much respect. I mean, she probably carrying on with that behavior every day to people, and people just be like, yes, mom. Yes, mom. You know them type of people where they
she not had nobody box her down yet. That was her problem.
No, nobody box her down because she's a good member of maybe one of them Christian communities. You know, like when you have respect for the people that dress nice and they go to church and they praise the Lord. So they them hypocrites, man. The way how I see her, boy, I look at her and I be like, gee, you know, it's not good to hate people.
Here what HA Janitorial says she owes me right now and she don't like to pay people. How does this woman remain in business? Boy,
these type of people out here, and then sometimes they don't even have to be Christians, but they just go in church. They go to church just to get one or two people's affirmation, and that's it. That's it. They just say, yes, I believe in God. Read the Bible, close the book, forgot what that verse mean, or don't even understand it. A lot of them can't. They just only go in by what the people say. You know, comprehension. That type of woman, then that business owner, she seemed to be very illiterate.
Definitely.
Like most of them out there. Very illiterate. And it's a disgusting behavior on this island, which what makes it looks a third world country. I don't care what anybody goes saying. We might be written down in the books as a first world, but we got a lot of third world employment here.
Yeah. Well, the problem is we're importing. The problem is, let me be very, very clear here. We're importing third world people and their third world behavior. And if we continue to do so and do not elevate our standards, we will too become third world.
Yeah, and you see, that's the reason why I kind of have a somehow respect for the Filipino community as well, you know, because a lot of them before they even come to Cayman, they realize what they can and cannot do. You know, sometimes they make fine one or two of them that might want to just break the law.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? Laws are there to break, you know.
All right, caller. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really, really ridiculous. Now, listen, folks, we have a segment, a special page, a special section, I should say, on our website that we're going to now dedicate to scammers, people like Debbie, who do not like to pay. Because what I find in this country, unfortunately, right, people, we have this show, over 550 of you are still watching it. You know, you go away, everybody forget about Debbie. The next company comes. I can't believe Finn used her. My God, poor Dale Creighton. I'm sure he regretted that, but she not gonna mess with him, you know. He had a little country bumpkin he put in her place, and he tell a few choice Caymanian words at that too. So, you know, he fired her ass quick, I'm sure. But, you know, by next week, y'all forgot all about Deborah Brown. So we need to start putting these people on the website so they are a permanent fixture on Facebook. So when people look up her company name, and they look up her name, they can see a photo, they can see what the company logo looks like, because we have no consumer protection in this country, CMR is going to do their part. And this is our part now. We're going to start posting these people who are taking advantage of workers, slum lords, the works. We're going to post them on this special section of the website. So you just send the information and the proof. Everybody who knows Debbie said that Debbie don't like to pay people. Yeah? So we're going to put up Debbie, and we're going to go back and actually put out some other people that need to be on here, because I'm always shocked when people say to me, oh, but Sandy, I missed that show. I didn't know that that person was featured. I didn't know that that happened. The same thing with the Kevin Barnes guy. Is it Kevin or Keith Barnes? What his name is again? Kevin Barnes? Keith? Whatever the heck his name is the other day. Somebody called me and I said, but we just featured him last week. Why does woman go and give him $500 for? Oh, but she didn't know. So y'all need to start using Google. Google these people's names, and when we put them on CMR, you better believe they're going to show up on Google. So all I need now is a decent photo of Debbie. Can somebody please get that for me? Send me a decent photo of Debbie. And guess what? We're going to call Debbie right now. Let's see what kind of devil foolishness she's going on with this morning. Mm-hmm.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Debbie.
Morning.
Morning, Sandra Hill here. How are you?
I'm okay, thanks.
That's wonderful. So we saw these videos, Debbie, of you going viral with this construction guy. He says that you were refusing to pay him. And we received a lot of complaints from people who say that you don't like to pay people.
Okay.
Okay. You know that contractually you have to pay people when they do work for you, right?
You're asking me a question now, you're making an assumption.
Well, I'm asking you a question if you know that when people work for you, you're supposed to pay them. That is a question.
Okay, so for one, we made a mistake by hiring the wrong person, which is a TikToker, not a finisher. Two, he aware that this is not an Oricom company. This is a business, and we have a schedule which we pay all our workers them each month, but he didn't want it to wait. So he went to Labor Board. They have dealt with the matter, and he already get his money.
Okay.
So,
but can we Debbie, can we speak about the broader issue here, right? Because I have a lot of people after this video is posted who said she owes me money. HA Janitorial, all these people, you got contract pulled from the Finn project because of how you're treating workers there. There seems to be a bigger issue here with you and your company outside of this man. I don't know who this man is. I saw the videos, right? So let's leave that situation alone and discuss the broader issue. Why is it that everybody on the street saying that you don't like to pay people?
Sandra.
Yes, ma'am.
If you want me to speak to you, we already have an attorney in place and we are a company. We could take this another way.
So
you have people that says bad. You have people that says bad things about you. Also, you have people that hate you and keep saying stuff. If everything people say is true,
no.
Don't you have a record?
No. But hold a record for what?
If people saying bad or they're talking the truth about
a
you,
record for no. But hold on. Let's address it. I mean, a record for what? Yeah, some things that people say about me is probably true. And some things are not true. So I'm being very, very specific here, right? What I'm saying to you is when you see everybody saying the same thing, not everybody says the same thing. You have some people who love me, some people who don't like me, some people in between, but you don't see everybody consistently saying.
Well, it's the same thing for us because we have our bank records, because all of our workers, they get paid straight through the bank. And we can't tamper with the bank records. It's there.
So how all these people claiming that you're a terror to work with and you don't like to pay people?
Well, I don't know. Maybe me look like a target or I look like a walking bank so people can walk and try to scam me.
So you think people are scamming you and you're the victim here?
Then if the guy got to the labor board and I had just hired him, he's not a staff, it was a trial. We give him 1 day and this man come and create all this other matter in 1 day and saying that we hold him $500 and he worked $500 for 1 day. And when he can't prove it, that's the reason why he don't get $500. And he go to the labor board and he still don't get $500. So what would you call that? That's
I mean,
a scam.
but like I said, we have tons of people. You're from Spanish Town?
Sorry?
You're from Spanish Town? People seem to know you, Debbie. I mean, people said that Debbie does not pay. They even wondering how you still have a business license.
Oh, Jesus. No weapon formed against me shall prosper.
I mean, did you not have the contract from Finn pulled from you? That's what people are saying. Finn is a Dale Creighton. Everybody know Dale Creighton. He's a big time, contractor here on this island, big time developer.
Yeah, and they also told you that Finn fire that Dale Creighton fire all the contractor that was working there.
All the contractors.
And all the contractors.
So how did he get his project finished at Finn if he fired everybody?
He can get different contractor.
Well, the people who worked on that site, this is what they said. They said that they had to run your ass from Finn because all she did was have those white fellas that she was managing on the project scared to death because of her antics and her ways. So, I mean, you have
Sandra,
quite a reputation, is all I'm saying.
Sandra, hear people going around and say, I'm also a prison officer. Hear people
No,
going
I
around.
haven't. I haven't heard that. No.
Okay, so they say me is a lot of things. Ask me who I am. Please try to know me.
Yes, well, I mean,
because I hear a lot of things about you too, Sandra, and I could have condemned me. I try to know people for themselves.
Well,
nobody playing stone off an empty mango tree.
Yeah, but what I saw in that video, right, of this man trying to get his money, regardless of how the disagreement go, you think it was right to physically assault him? Because you actually, that's common assault. That's a criminal offense, and you did it more than once.
You want me to explain the story how the situation started?
Yes.
Because a video can be cut and put it and do a lot of things.
So he did some bamboozling with the video. Then is what you're saying? Yes, ma'am.
Sandra, you see that part of the video, but you didn't see how it reached there. So don't you see on the video, this is a private property. I have the right to protect myself and my client. I keep telling him. It is a simple disagreement. He didn't have to escalate there, but he had a different thing up his sleeve. I keep telling this guy, stop videoing me, stop videoing me. He's walking behind me, he's trailing me, he's talking me. He might take steps for me with him camera. So I had to back up the phone out of his hand because I was fed up.
No. You didn't have to do that, though. You didn't have to do that. He wasn't touching you.
Because you don't respect me. Because listen, somebody respect you enough to give you a job, and you're gonna come on somebody's job site and disrespect them for no reason, trailing behind them, following them for no reason.
Yeah, but I mean, you just walk away and you leave the job site or you call the police or whatever. You didn't have to physically box anything out of his hand or hit at him or have a knife in your hand.
I called the police, and the matter also is already in the police, and the police them is already aware of it. The police them already.
Other people, we have Salvin in the comment section. He says he worked at Finn and he was not fired. He completed his job. Other people saying that not every contractor got fired. So you own this company called Epic Drywall?
Yes, ma'am. I'm a shareholder of the company.
You're a shareholder. Okay. So presumably, you have a Caymanian partner then in this business?
Yes, ma'am.
I see. I mean, I would suggest, like I said.
Sandra, let me just get to the truth here, because I
right.
don't have no time for the ears and the mix up and the mix up.
Yeah, well, we love this, the cold hard truth. So please, go ahead.
Okay. With the situation with Finn, everybody have them trick up their sleeve. Everybody got fired. It was the contractor running Finn that called George Gackett that they had bring from overseas. The project were reached a certain extent. They'll decide they never want to go further with we as the contractor that George Gackett had hired. And that had caused the separation. And everybody move on. So I don't know what more to say.
I see. All right, Debbie. I mean, I'm just trying to make a suggestion that maybe, you should be a little bit more mindful of how you're treating your workers, because, like you said, people talk and people say all sorts of things, but normally if you say people saying, a lot of people, 90%, 95% of people saying the exact same thing over and over and over again.
But you don't see the other 150 that is backing me.
The other what, sorry?
You see the 150 negative, but you don't see the other 200 positive that is backing me.
No. I said if you have 90, 95% of people who have worked with you saying this has been my experience, right? That means that the majority of people are saying one thing of a singular mind. Normally, as we say in the Cayman Islands, if it don't go so, it go close to so. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, so when we hear some terrible things about you, then
you can hear whatever you want to hear about me. You're not hearing 95% of the people saying terrible things about me.
Don't your life still go on? You still live your life, but you're not pay them the mind. Don't you
but honey child, the difference
this is the challenge. Is all we have to face.
No, but what I'm saying to you,
you
Debbie,
are running a business and you're not running it to please
Debbie,
them.
What I'm saying to you is the difference is 95% of the people out there are not saying negative things about me or that I'm a crook and I don't pay people. I have been a business owner for over 20 years. Yeah?
Yeah, but maybe you're not reading all the comments.
What do you mean all the comments?
And I have never followed none of them or condemned you. I try to know you from myself, because me even called you already and spoke to you about situations. I remember you don't remember me.
No, because I get calls every single day. I get 4 or 5 calls a day. I mean, I don't remember people. And I try to help people. Listen, I'm the type of person, if you're in the right, you're in the right. If you're in the wrong, you're in the wrong. And I don't care in business, who you are. So you wouldn't stand out any differently than anybody else.
Wrong. Right. And wrong and right. Sandra, I've been running this business and we put everything in place that we're supposed to put in place.
Yes.
Our business is supposed to be run. All of our workers, number one, if they don't have a bank account, we're not hiring them. Because
so you're the manager for the business. So you're responsible for the day-to-day operations.
Right.
Okay. Is it possible? Let me ask you a question, Debbie. Just based on what we saw in the video, right? Is it possible that maybe you just don't have the people skills to deal with these guys, and somebody else should be kind of like, maybe you can be in the background doing the paperwork, doing all the compliance stuff, like you said, making sure they have bank accounts, this, that, whatever. You can do those things, but maybe you shouldn't be the one to interact with people, because you look like you have a little bit of a short fuse still.
All right, Sandra, when we're wrong, we're right. Yeah. But we are humans and blood runs through all of us.
Right.
Because none of us are perfect. All of us have our good side and all of us have our bad side.
Yeah.
But just picture this, Sandra. Because this is the first situation ever happened to me on site. Because it seems like I want my workers them to respect me, I should respect them just the same. Because even a baby you're supposed to respect.
Yeah. Well, definitely babies, because they're not doing nothing wrong.
Right. So tell me, how would you feel if you hire a worker that tells you that, look, Sandra, I can get this wall painted for you. And when he reach a certain other work, he says to you, Sandra, you never show me this column in the wall and it is additional work. And he said, okay, fine. How much is the additional work? And he said, No, Sandra, I'm not doing the additional work. I'm just doing what you tell me to do and leave. And I said, okay, then fine. When he's leaving, you and him already made an agreement like, look, you work today, I'm going to pay you next week, Friday. And he like, okay, I'm leaving now. I need my money today. I'm like, this wasn't the agreement. And then now, in your private home, took out his phone while you're having a conversation, trying to work out a simple situation, started videoing you. What would you do? And when you tell him stop, it's not necessary. Then he might follow you up and down in your own house, videoing you back and forth everywhere you go, and a torment you behind you, attack. Tell me, what would you do when you walk him out, Sandra?
My dear, I would simply ask him to leave. You said that was your private home that he's building? You're building a house?
He's not leaving.
What do you mean he's not leaving?
When me call the police, he's still not leave.
But the police. So how did he eventually leave? How did you eventually get him to leave?
The other guys, them come on the site and tell them the situation, and then them said leave. And because it was more than one of them, then he decided to leave there.
So you could have done that instead of trying to box the man down.
Because he's behind me and torment me. Back on me go down a labor board. Because he just had something up. Let me tell you, Sanjay, and everybody who you're left in your life is who you treat them is. Everybody come with different intentions.
I understand that. And that's why you just have to know how to cut people off. But you have to understand this is not no friendship business, you know. This wasn't a relationship with you and the man that was a personal friendship or personal relationship. This was business. You were acting in a business capacity, and this is where it's problematic, right? Because listen, there's a lot of times that people rub me the wrong way. I'm gonna cuss them, and I'm gonna cuss them proper. But when it comes to my business, when I have either clients or workers, and it comes to, okay, I put on my little business hat, fix myself. I conduct myself differently when it comes to business. So if that was a personal situation, like me and him were lovers and we just had a little lover spat and whatever, yes, maybe to say, come off my bumper clock, where you're the devil, whatever. When it comes to business, I'm not dealing with you on that level. You understand? It's a totally different vibe and a different situation. And you have to know how to conduct yourself. And what I'm telling you, Miss Debbie, is based on the videos that I saw, you might have been trying, but I don't know how hard you were trying.
And it wasn't working. I don't know why this man come texted on me. I don't know why him behind me attack me.
But you can't blame this man for your behavior.
This is our work. I'm supposed to come at work and behave.
No, but Miss Debbie, you can't blame.
Can't make one right.
Well, yes, two wrongs don't make a right. But one wrong don't give you the right to then be in the wrong as well. You should have conducted yourself better than this. This never looked good on you. Everybody came out like, what? Who on earth is this woman? And like I said, everybody who's messaging me, saying that this is ridiculous. This is how you always go on. You say, oh, you're not afraid of no works, what they call labor board. I mean, the whole thing has really rubbed people the wrong way.
He was threatening me to try to get more money than what we had agreed.
But listen, labor board is going to look at it from the perspective of the law and what the agreement was.
No, I am not above labor board. But at the time, I didn't know it was videoing me. I know that we have our files. I know that our company is straight. I know that we are doing the right thing. If anybody should check our background record. So why you come in there trying to intimidate me? Like when he tell me about labor board, I was like, all right. Never give you what you want then. Like that's him want. Like he might intimidate me. And bully me from my own side.
Have you looked at? All right, let me ask you a question, Debbie. Have you looked at the videos? Have you seen your behavior? Have you looked at them?
Yeah, because he was in my space.
Yes, but Miss Debbie, there's no way you could have looked. All right, let me play one.
You're a social media person. I am not a social media person.
All right, I'm gonna play one. I'm gonna play one for you. I want you to listen to it, and then I want you to really.
Sandra, you have to play it.
Okay, so you really think that you don't take no wrong in this, none at all? You're gonna put all the blame on this man?
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
I did not say that, but I said two wrongs cannot make a right.
So you're willing to admit that your behavior was unprofessional and wrong?
Yeah.
Okay.
But him push me to that. The man did it almost 2 hours time make me with camera in the show. The rest of them video there, you know. And when me box it out and you know, when me get fed up now, you know. I was trying my best. I was trying to be as professional as possible because to running a business, you have to be professional. Professionality is the key. But when I saw that this man acting like he must be husband or him have some shares in the business, and he just kept going.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it reached there, and then enforced me.
Well, I'm going to make a suggestion to you, Debbie. Obviously, you can take it or leave it. But based on what I saw and based on what you're saying, right? I think you might have some anger management issues for real. The response doesn't seem. I know you're saying
all of us have anger management, and all
not
of us.
really.
You just need it. No. You just need the right person to push you overboard, and how they're doing it.
Okay.
How they're doing it. I don't have anger management because I am a Christian.
Okay. So being a Christian means you don't have anger management issues?
And then if you say you repent and you're baptized and you're born again.
What does that have to do with anger management issues?
Then God not change you from any situation where you have, Sandra.
Really? That's how God works?
That way, so when
but hold on now, Debbie.
No, listen, that's an example. When you're born again and you used to go dance hall, you still go dance hall.
But wait. I'm trying to understand this. So just because you become a Christian, God miraculously takes a wand and changes your behavior? God does not put the responsibility on you to take appropriate action? So if you know certain things trigger you, or if you have certain behaviors, you must not work on it?
I said that to say this.
God not no miracle worker like that.
No, listen. I said that to say this. As a child of God, you're supposed to walk and talk a certain way, right?
Well,
so I am a very humble person.
But listen, when you call in somebody that's the son of Satan and the devil's child and all kind of stuff, none of that don't sound Christian like to me. But all I'm saying is, even if you are professing to be a Christian, that's not my judgment to make. But if you are professing to be one, what I'm saying is you're falling a little bit short. So perhaps some counseling or something might be in order. God wants us to help ourselves. So if we need professional help, that's what the professionals are there for.
All right, Sandra. Let's see you get mad enough time when people try to tear down your business that you invest so much money and work so hard.
That's not why I get mad, though, you know. I mean, I get mad about that. And people not tearing down nothing for me. I'm from a business perspective, I'm perfectly fine. Right? And even when I appeared to lose control, just like I did with that 14-year-old the other day, I wasn't losing control. I was saying exactly what I wanted to say to her. Hold on a second. I was saying exactly what I wanted to say to her because she is a disrespectfful child that needs somebody to put her in her place. I don't go around talking to people generally like that. Yeah.
Okay,
that is the exception and not the rule.
But at the time when you did that, where the people them see them bring out, and the same situation in now. I don't go
around. You know how many people were thanking me for somebody finally trying to address that child because she has no behavior. I don't see nobody thanking you for this situation, none at all. There's a difference of being in the wrong.
A lot of people thanking me because
really?
No contractor, because I saw some of them come from no contractor side, disrespect them and behave the most way, and enough of them back them down. Enough white man contractor here as they end up back them down, but you them not catch that on video if you go on Mall Road. It's not me alone go through this. Other contractors out here go through it. And I'm not using that to rectify my situation. As I said, yeah, I'm wrong there. But the guy just keep on. I'm gonna say,
but when you say to me that you're wrong, this is where I have a problem with it, right? When you say you're wrong,
when he points in the
I
phone,
don't really hear you taking like full responsibility and say, okay, I'm wrong. I shouldn't have done it. End of story. I've learned my lesson. We're all gonna move on.
Yeah, them in a learn my lesson, Sandra.
Well, I don't hear you saying that, so I can't assume that you've learned a lesson. How do I know you've learned a lesson when you're saying that you know this man drove you to it and it's his fault? That don't sound like somebody who's learned a lesson. That sounds like somebody who's still blaming someone else.
Lesson, so that means it can't happen again.
Okay, so you have learned a lesson.
Yes.
All right. So me not gonna hear your name mixed up in no foolishness again with non-payment of workers and all this kind of stuff.
No, Sandra.
Okay.
The Bible says by a stretch of a man growing shall eat bread. All man to work and he not get paid. People have family. Nobody no work because they love work. People work because they have needs. That's why I put everything in place to make sure that people get paid and on time. People can eat lunch out of them pay. Me have workers, they tell me, say, Debbie, you're only boss me working. Me can put on a pot with water and want the food are going in it. And then you have another set, they don't know you. They just hear things and run with it. Yeah, people are calling me all name, but I don't know nothing about all them name. My mother don't name me so, me don't name so. But me can't follow all negative where people are said. Me have to see upon the positive side. As I said, nobody throws stone off an empty man. Go tree and when you're on the road to success, you're gonna get fight.
I don't know, boy. Like I said, you know, I hope you can get it together, Debbie, because obviously you said you're one of the shareholders. This is a type of thing when you have this kind of reputation out there and you're what we call front facing. So you have to deal with customers, right? You're the one who has to deal with the customers. This is really a poor example of what you can potentially be. And you can find people who can start not to work with you. From when you say somebody like Dale Creighton, as many projects as Dale has in the pipeline, always working on stuff, that he has to fire your company. He don't want to work with your company because of you and your attitude. Your work will soon dry up and you have to come out the business.
No, Sandra, you're going overboard now, or you get the information wrong.
Okay.
I don't want to go into what me and Dale Creighton go through because right now we're still communicating where we're going to continue the business.
You sure about that?
We had a little disagreement on that side. So I said I don't want to go into that. People can make an assumption. People can say this. People can say that. Because out of everybody where they're correct fire on that side, I'm the only one get paid. Why ain't pay me alone?
Because the man believes in paying people who do work. So I don't think that would probably be unique. He doesn't have a reputation for not paying people.
It's not even my place to even tell you that. I don't even want to get into that about anybody else.
Yeah, well, all I can tell you, I've never heard anybody say that Dale Creighton don't pay him. I mean, he has a reputation for paying people. So, all
right. So what you know that I'm not gonna get into that. You hear what you say, and hear what me say. Me get paid. People say them not get no pay.
Okay.
So you see what me and say, yes, son. You see what happened here, so no. Okay.
All right, Debbie.
So no matter what you're doing in life, Sandra, negativity has to come. No matter how you lay your cards right, that's why in God you have to put your trust.
Well, I mean, I think that, you know, some negativity perhaps, but by and large, people will see what you're about, right? And like people have said, there's only people can pretend.
Still working for us, our business still going on, and everybody's working.
I'm telling you that you go to the well every day, and one day the bucket can drop out. So sometimes we are, as business owners, our own worst enemy. And so, you know, the more you engage in this type of behavior, Debbie, and I don't know what's driving it and whatever the situation is, but the more you engage in this type of behavior, the more you might have to worry about not getting jobs. Yes, some people might still be using you, and there are other people who may not be. What I'm just saying to you is perhaps you need to take it under consideration a little bit that, you know, people are watching and people are talking. The streets have a lot to say. You know, I don't know who you are in the whole situation, but as soon as I put up that video, my phone was ringing off, but oh my God, this woman, she is horrible and she's this and she's that. And I'm like, who the hell is this woman?
Sandra, you know, see some of the video them out there. That the video there where you put up that are the lease.
That is the lease?
The same guy put up over 10 videos. And the man said something about me. I'll myself something. Me never know. Boy, me learn in life say people know more than you, more than you even know about yourself. People can ask for information about you what you say. If you're not firm-minded, all you believe the lie. So you don't see nothing yet.
Okay. Someone's asking, what's your immigration status on island?
So were you speaking to me online?
Yeah, I called you and said you're live on air.
You never tell me that.
You sure?
I just aware of that.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I said we were live, but maybe that was the caller before. But yes, we're live.
The caller before? Sandra, you never tell me that.
We never said we were on air.
You never called. You said this is Sandra, and I have spoken to you before. I have spoken to you. I've called you, and I've spoken
somebody
to you
said that I did say it. I'm pretty sure that I did say it
on multiple occasions. So I thought you were just calling me because I saw the number come up in my phone because I have your number saved. I never heard you mention that you was
this
live.
number you have saved for me. This is the show number I'm calling you from. I don't use this number for a personal number.
You call me back already from the number, yeah.
From this number?
Yeah.
Are you sure? I find that hard to believe because this phone stays plugged into the board. I don't move this phone with me. So for me to call somebody on this phone is very unusual. So are you really sure about that?
You're on live, so we can't talk to you after you're about that. Well, you call me already.
Okay. I don't know nothing about calling from this number. I'm not saying that I wouldn't have returned your call. As a matter of fact, let me just look through my phone here now. I see the other phone. Yes, you've been messaging me for years, actually. Dating all the way back to November of 2021.
Okay.
All right. But you wouldn't message me on that phone, and then I would pick up and turn around and pick up this phone to call you. This is the show number. Yes, I see what you were messaging about earlier with that situation. Oh, all I can tell you, Debbie, is I really hope that you can get it together because, like I said, there's a lot out there about you that's circling around. It doesn't really sound good. You know what I'm saying? So I wish you the best of luck. And hopefully, you said this was a one-off situation. We'll see. All right, Miss Debbie?
Okay.
All right, my dear. Have a good one.
Same to you.
Okay, dear. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm pretty sure I told them my name. All right, we had a few more callers who were trying to call in. Let's go ahead and grab those really quickly before we start to wrap it up. Epic Construction and Drywall says Leroy. I gotta go back and listen because hi, caller. Good morning.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I cannot talk. Oh, you can't talk now. All right, honey. All right, she's unable. Let's call Miss Darlene back. I know Miss Darlene was trying to call in as well. Final call of the day.
Hey, Sandy.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, good morning.
Morning.
Actually, I was saying, at first that we have to respect the fact that she didn't go on, and she sounded like she admitted to, doing wrong and whatever. But there again, we got to do our research and see these companies, first of all, that they're licensed. And we can get some reviews from people like who did you work for? I work for Sandy, I work for Darlie. Call or write or message what kind of work, what kind of quality. But sometimes, what happens, Sandy, we jump in and we try to find the cheapest deal. And that's happened to me too. But when you check it out, it's more expensive
for you to have to jump in and get a cheaper deal
Mhm.
than to go straight for people that are got good reviews and reputable people. And again, Caymanians, I don't want to say sound biased,
Mhm.
but a lot of time there are Caymanians out there that are going to charge you maybe $1 more or so, but they're not into this to the scamming as we call it. I know there's other words to use, but as
Mhm.
we see it now. So just do that. I mean, people just pick up and come and hit a nail in a piece of wood and say that they are a carpenter or slap some cement on, and then you go back. I know my brother-in-law, he does good work.
Mhm.
And every time every time somebody do a bad job, they calls him to go over the job and do the job. So in the long run, it's going to cost you more. Call the source that is more reputable, maybe a little more, but at least you're going to get good work, get
Mhm.
good quality work to begin with. So you must respect the fact that she kind of like was I guess she was what you call it, remorse for what she had did.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it puts her in a better light than most of them that you have. But the real thing I wanted you to call was when you said that you're going to put on your website. I think that's a good idea,
Mhm.
because I would like to call it CMR 48 hours, because I haven't seen any case that you take on that took less than 48. So maybe a CMR 48. All right.
All
Take
right, my
care.
dear. Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much. I appreciate it. All right, folks. What a hot mess. People said she wouldn't answer her immigration status question. That's when she's like, "Oh, I'm on air." Yes, and what about your immigration status? So we never did get to the bottom of that part of things, but we gonna find out one way or the other what her immigration status is. She's a shareholder in this company. Her behavior is less than becoming. And like I said, let's separate this one incident from the bigger picture, because I think there's a bigger picture here. Somebody says, I've heard her echoing in her background. She's talking shit. So in other words, that she had the radio on. Somebody said, Debbie come in like she can't hear. Spot on, Debbie, trying to save face, pay the man his money. Really just is a shocking lack of respect, and how you treat workers, I think, is very, very problematic. So common assault is serious. You don't just hit people for no reason. If it's self-defense, that's one thing, but at no time did that man yell at her, scream at her. I don't even see where he was making her feel threatened in any way. So she claims that it was sustained for 2 hours. His wife has said that that's a lie. She wasn't able to reach him because he's at work. But the police will now deal with the situation. Very unfortunate. Yeah. Somebody says, BS, my dad was also a contractor there. He certainly wasn't fired. This is now at the Finn Project. She was also fired from the job at Crew Road for the same behavior, a CI precast project. Debbie is a POS, in case you don't know what that means, piece of shit, and a crook. So like I said, her reputation precedes her. Somebody else says, Sandy, she's lying and a damn thief. Wow. All right. What a hot mess. Good morning, ma'am. Miss Debbie has been doing this shit for a long time now, Sandy. That big project on South Sound near Seaview Hotel. So lots of comments. They say she has extorted from that compound. She was escorted, my apologies, from that compound by police. Wow. All right, beautiful people. 465 of you still look like you're not got no jobs. I have a job and you have a job. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you, Perla. Thank you all for tuning in today. Obviously, the show was great because y'all stayed with us. At one point, we had 650 people, whatever. You know, we're going to continue to highlight these people. It is what it is. You do wrong in this country. Unfortunately, we can't rely on the government. We have no protection, no consumer protection, little to no work protection. Labor Board, I guess, does what they can do, and still people hoodwinking and taking advantage. So CMR is here for you, folks. I'll do my best is all I can tell you. And if you're out there and you're that type of person, Everton, yes, Everton said, what about me? We're not going to forget you, Everton, all you beautiful people. Thank you so much for continuing to tune into the program. Vicky says Hog Penthouse. Jeffrey says Debbie been here and should know nothing. Doesn't hide too long here. It is a small place, but some of them be hiding in their dirty ways for a long, long time. So here's what we're going to do. We're trying to arrange an explosive expert to come on the show. I don't know when Home Gas will be able to come back, but we're going to have an expert from overseas to kind of analyze, you know, they're not on the ground, obviously, doing the investigation, but we're going to have them analyze what they know about it, talk about safety of propane and propane products and the whole 9 yards. And hopefully the investigators can quickly get to the bottom of what happened to really put people's minds at ease. You just got to be careful with these things, and we'll find out exactly what went down. So thank you guys once again for tuning into the program, for making another fantastic show. You guys be safe, and we'll definitely be here again tomorrow morning.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.